And we're live. Hey, gang. Good to have you with us once again for another episode of the Jim Master Show Live, entertainment, lifestyle, variety talk show series. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the show from wherever you're watching all around the world. We've got an audience that continues to grow of our Lovity viewers, our JMS Lovity viewers who watch and support and celebrate the entertainment, lifestyle, variety talk show series that we do to inspire, entertain, have a lot of fun with you, and great guests that come in from all around the world who are either experts at what they do, or they're celebrity friends, or they're here to have a good time and share their stories with us and with all of you. If you'd like to comment while the show is live, you know you can do that. We have our JMS Lovity chat room. That is actually available when the show is live. So if you are watching us right now live, you can participate. You can chat amongst yourselves in our exclusive JMS Lovity chat room when you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Yes, very easy to do. There's no cost to do that, gang. You just hit that red subscribe button and click the notification bell so you never miss any of the episodes that we have with our incredible guests and so much more. And when you subscribe, it also lets us know that you're really enjoying all this content, hundreds and hundreds of episodes we have done with extraordinary guests. Don't forget, you can also binge watch the episodes too. You can scroll back and watch the episodes we've done previously. There are hundreds of them that you can enjoy, and it's really cool. So a lot of folks commenting already. We welcome everybody. Our JMS Lovity squad, that is the real faithful. And if you're joining us for the first time, it's cool to have you here too as well. Spread the word. Tell everybody you know about the Jim Master Show Live experience where Lovity is really a part of it. That sort of grew out of the whole last couple of years. The world has sort of needed a little bit more of that. So we've been expressing that here on the show. Great guests again, coming in from all around the world and all different backgrounds, and we absolutely love it. Speaking of which, we've got an extraordinary guest. We have a globally acclaimed illustrator, an animator, and his work is absolutely unbelievable. We're going to show you a good deal of his work too. We have some really cool exclusive things we're going to be showing you. Of course, we're talking about none other than Glen Hanson. Now, Glen is really a cool guy too. He's laid back. He's a brilliant artist. He's been doing this for a long time. He's been hired by some of the largest companies you can think of, publications and corporations and more, to do all kinds of incredible work. And again, we're going to display some of that for you as well. We're going to talk with Glen, who's coming to us live and direct from California, from Los Angeles, California. And really cool. Let me tell you just a little bit about him, and then we're going to bring him right on quickly. From the runways of Milan to animated TV shows, magazine racks, toy stores, bookshelves, and even the fragrance aisle of your local drugstore, Glen Hanson's witty, stylish, and sexy imagery is literally everywhere. Over the course of his multifaceted career, Glen has predominantly divided his time between the two worlds of illustration and animation. His illustrations have appeared in a variety of publications around the world, including British Vogue, GQ, Entertainment Weekly, Newsweek, The Wall Street Journal, Maxim, Variety, and DC Comics, on book covers for Random House, Kensington, Harlequin, and most recently, the popular Goddess Girls series for Simon & Schuster. His roster of advertising clients includes Timex, Grand Marnier, McDonald's, and Sunsilk Shampoo. His development illustrations for Mattel's Monster High dolls set the tone for the brand on packaging, design, and the animated spin-off as well. He's created poster images for the off-Broadway hit musical Altar Boys, Seth Rudetsky's Seth's Big Fat Broadway Show, and the play Miss Abigail's Guide to Dating, Mating, and Marriage, on CD covers for house music label Purple Music, and Blink 182's The Mark Tom and Travis Show, for which Glen was awarded a Certificate of Excellence from the American Institute of Graphic Arts. Also, throughout North America, Glen's images adorn gift boxes and print ads for bod men's and women's fragrance products. They have also appeared on the runways of Milan on a series of T-shirts as part of the spring and fall collections of European menswear. designer Andrew Mackenzie. Ads designed by Glen for those collections were featured in a whole host of incredible publications. Rev Jeans in Italy as well hired him to create a line of sexy t-shirt images. New York City-based designer Kara Ross has used his fashion illustrations to promote her line of high-end accessories. In animation, Glen started out by designing characters for TV's Babar, Beetlejuice, and Daria, the cartoon shows. In 2000, he was nominated for an Annie Award for his art, direction, and design on MTV's internationally syndicated Spy Groove series. He has since developed shows for Nickelodeon, Film Roman, Studio B, and for Disney. He also co-wrote and designed and storyboarded a series of animated promo spots for SoapNet entitled Crescent Hollow. And in 2009, he combined all his talents to direct, design, and storyboard the animated music video Ghost Town for Universal Music and the recording artist's Shiny Toy Guns. Whatever the medium, Glen really uses his unique talent, passion, and enthusiasm for everything he creates, writing comics, TV shows, conceptualizing visual merchandise, campaigns for entertainment or corporate clients, or just capturing the likeness of the famous and the fabulous with his signature style. Oh, yeah. We're going to show you some of that signature style on this episode of the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Variety Talk Show series as well. So cool stuff coming up. Wow, look at all those comments. Thanks, gang. Again, if you would like to comment while the show is live, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. It's the channel you're watching right now that houses the Jim Masters Show. Try to make it easier. It's all Jim Masters TV. We didn't want to make it too complicated. Just play off the name. And it's all there for you. And again, we make it easy. And thanks for all the comments. We'll take a look at a few of those as well. If you're enjoying the episode, you want to support us, you can do super thanks, super chat, super emojis, super stickers, and all that fun stuff during the show as well. With that said, now you know who I'm talking about, right? Let me throw something in here. You know how we always talk about paying homage to Johnny Carson? I say that our Entertainment Lifestyle Variety Talk Show series is harkening back to the days of Johnny Carson, Dick Cavett, Regis Philbin, Mike Douglas, Merv Griffin, the original legendary talk show hosts, because you guys know I've hosted for years on TV and radio, still do. Look at this fantastic work of art. One of many, many, many things Glen has done. There is Johnny Carson himself. Incredible, huh? The likeness. This is just one of the many things. All right, we'll slip in one more before we have him come on. Norman Lear, who just turned 100 years old, like 2 weeks ago. Look at that incredible likeness, all done by Glen Hanson. Absolutely incredible. So put your hands together and let's welcome him live and direct from Los Angeles, California, joining us here on the Jim Masters Show. Glen, welcome to the show, my friend. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Well, hi, Jim. It's great to be here. I was across the hall shooting a Bob Hope television special, and I heard you were doing the show, and I just came in. Oh, there's no studio audience.
That's it. Well, they're watching and commenting. So the lovely viewers that are commenting, they are the studio audience from around the world. But I was just shooting a Bob Hope special.
I can go into my Rickles if you want, but that would be probably a little offensive. Watching those two together, I know it's not very contemporary.
Oh no, I love it. It's hilarious.
Gold.
Yes.
No one's brain works faster than Rickles, and I didn't appreciate it when I was a kid. But rewatching those episodes and the two of them playing off each other, and
incredible.
You just don't see stuff like that anymore.
No, yeah.
I mean, you don't see someone like Carson who is so smooth and so he knew when to lay back, and he went to go forward, he knew when to throw in the shot. But he always let the guests shine. I mean,
yes.
And he's not a sycophant, which some of them are sycophants.
Right, absolutely are. Hey, we were just talking about our buddy, and here he is. Wayne Scott Lucas is in the house.
Oh,
hey, Wayne.
Thank you,
Wayne.
Up.
Yeah, Wayne is great. Another fantastically talented and creative.
Very talented and a long career and a very luxuriant head of hair, which of course I'm hyper aware of.
Is there any way you can pencil it in, or
I could draw it on?
Didn't Ron Popeil come up with the spray or something? Ron Popeil had the spray.
This is my look. This has been my look since
I think it looks great. They
and
look
got
terrific.
pointy heads. Yeah.
That's funny. And Wayne's right. You have literally drawn all of our favorites, which I think is fantastic. The Lovities are all here and they're all saying hello from around the world.
Hi, everyone.
Good to see everybody. Yeah. So, oh yeah, you're gonna love Wayne. Absolutely. Hey, Wayne, good to see you as well, and all these fantastic folks here. Cartoons, animation, huge. You've all seen it. Yeah, you really are everywhere, my friend. How'd you get started? I mean, what was the sort of source of inspiration for you early on to want to get into illustration and animation? Were you always doodling as a kid? I mean, were you always
More than
kind of-
doodling. It was obsessive. I mean, I started, I'm really, really lucky because my parents were very supportive. And my father in particular, he was a very organized, he was a teacher and school teacher, and he kept the best of all my drawings. So if I want to see what I was drawing at 7, there's like a specific file that's dated by year. But they noticed a talent, one of the times about 2 or 3.
Did they?
That was starting to emerge that, it's what I chose to do. It's what I wanted to do, what I did all the time. And then as I was in school, elementary school, I would just be watching TV and drawing, like obsessively looking at, and this was pre-video. So all you could do was look at it while it was there. That's all you had. There weren't many books.
Right, exactly.
There's a
Just the
couple
Sunday, comic strips and comic books. Yeah.
But in terms of animation, there was a couple of Disney books. One actually, that was it. There was nothing to look at in your spare time.
No.
So I was just really hungry to observe and replicate Flintstones and Disney. I was obsessed with Disney as a child. And
what was your favorite? Did you have a few favorites? Was there?
Well, again, I'm old, so the only ones that were even it was only went up to. It was a real low point. The 70s were a real low point for animation. So other than the Hanna-Barbera stuff that was on Saturday morning and the Flintstones that had been done in the 60s, there was nothing contemporary. And Disney had stopped producing. I think Rescuers was one of the few, Sword and Stone Rescuers, one of the few that they released during the 70s, because all their older artists and the studio had shifted and the public taste had shifted.
Yes.
So, it was pre-Little Mermaid when it was a whole renaissance of classical animation coming back. And by that time, when Little Mermaid came out, I'd already gone through animation school. But anyway, it's back to being a kid. So I was obsessed with cartoons and animation as a kid and drawing all the time, going up to my room, drawing in front of the television, drawing. Didn't want to go out and play. Certainly didn't want to play hockey. I'm from Canada. I wanted to stay inside all the time. And so
what were some of your favorite cartoons growing up? Like you mentioned Flintstones.
Oh, I was obsessed with Disney movies.
Did you like the Hanna-Barbera? Did you like Wacky Racers? Did you like Magilla Gorilla and like all of those?
I watched, Magilla was earlier. I loved Scooby-Doo. I mean,
remember all the TV shows, the popular TV shows would end up having Saturday morning cartoons like the Partridge Family.
Oh yeah, Partridge Family.
Jackson's had.
What they would do is they would take any show and put one like Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days and Partridge Family and
Brady Bunch, Gilligan's Island.
Island, but those were done by Filmation. So all you had really was Filmation, but mostly Hanna-Barbera. And I loved it all, but I was most attracted to, I guess, the Hanna-Barbera style and Disney. Disney, all I ever dreamed of was being able to draw as well as those artists. And, people go, oh, did you look at Hirschfeld a lot when you're kids? No, all I ever looked at, the best caricatures to me were Stoney Curtis and Margrock. Those were the ones I was like, if I can make my caricatures look like those caricatures, success. So,
did you like the Art Clokey material? Davy and Goliath and Gumby and Pokey, just the way they did sort of that
I
stop
watched
action
it.
claymation.
Yeah, I watched it,
It's
sure.
ahead of its time, huh?
Watch what was on, and what was on. I had to sit through a bunch of crappy shows to get to, before the Wonderful World of Disney came on. And then I would be hoping it wouldn't be some Disney nature film. I was hoping it would be an animation one.
Right,
Like,
right.
oh, yeah, because I was
Sunday
so
nights on NBC, yeah.
because I didn't have those videos at home. I didn't, there was no DVDs or videos at that time.
That's right.
Anything I could look at and observe and yeah.
So then as you're watching and observing and soaking it all up, Glenn, how do you start the application? How do you start applying it? Were you doing it, taking classes in school? How did you actually start developing the skill?
Just self-taught.
Yeah,
I mean, we had art class in elementary school.
Yeah.
I remember so I went from Disney and Flintstones, then superheroes. By the time I was at like 10, Wonder Woman came on. I just dated myself. And then I also got interested in the comic books too. So I remember in grade 7, I made a paper mache, full-size, human-size Wonder Woman like this.
Did you?
Yeah, made it. I took a pair of my mother's high heel shoes for the bottom. But like, that's all I did. All I did was create.
You were creating.
I didn't want to, well, it's a beautiful day, Glenn. Why don't you go outside and play? I was like, no, I want to stay inside and draw. That's all I want to do.
So you would always be drawing. And did you ever sort of, sometimes people would copy, like they'd see the Sunday comics, and then they would try to like copy it, try to replicate it. I used to do that a lot with the Lockhorns. I don't know if you remember the Lockhorns, the couple. Yeah, I think they're still around. The original guy passed away, but you mentioned, or I mentioned Beetlejuice too.
Yeah,
isn't that Greg Walker? Isn't that Greg Walker? Didn't he? I think his father created Beetlejuice, and Greg Walker is still doing it.
Beetlejuice?
I think.
As a comic strip?
Oh no, that's Beetle Bailey. That's the other one. Beetle Bailey, yes.
Military versus wonky expressions.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a blend there.
Yeah. I remember Beetle Bailey. I did
Beetle Bailey, Greg Walker, yeah.
I would like Popeye, but I think I liked. So yeah, I would imitate. If I had anything printed, I would try to, again, replicate the actual character. And that's how you learn. You observe, you replicate. I didn't really ever trace. I was trying to be able to do it on my own. And there were some books or one book that had a breakdown of the inner shapes for Mickey Mouse. It's like, well, this is how you draw it, because there's a circle head, circle body, circle ears, and then where do you place the mouth and where do you place the eyes? And it kind of broke that down. And so, that's how you learn. But of course, it's all replication, and it's all observation. I mean, it's not just looking at cartoons, or if that's what you're interested in, or comics. It's looking at real life. It's looking at people. It's looking at colors. It's looking at. I was quite, I guess, pretty quiet as a kid, and in my own world. And my mother said I used to just observe. I was just looking at everything, and you're just taking in. I mean, any artist is taking in.
Yes.
Their surroundings.
Yeah, I do that too. Yeah, you're soaking it up, observing life, right?
Yeah. And the same with,
feeling it.
In a way, we're just actors with utensils, and to be good at either of those two things, you must observe. You must see the details, and and then be able to replicate that in your medium.
So what did you start with when you were starting out? What was there a certain, because there's so many different avenues within the world of illustration and animation
Mhm.
that you could really go into. What did you decide to partake in first, Glenn?
That was sort of decided for me by my father. There were the two best schools for animation back then were Cal Arts, and since I was Canadian, I couldn't go there.
Yeah.
Uh, so there was one really, really good school called Sheridan that opened in the early 70s in Ontario, Canada. And my father was a guidance counselor, so he was aware of the best place for students to go for whatever they wanted to study. And he handed me a brochure when I was about 8 years old. He goes, "I think you should go here. I think this is the place that you love cartoons, you love animation. There's this course here." So it was sort of predestined for me to go there. Now there was a huge, a lot of other things that I discovered before I got to college that interested me as well, like superheroes
Yeah.
and fashion. I mean, I thought I would go into fashion for a while because I was, that was later in adolescence. So I was really, I left cartoons sort of behind. I still had that skill set. I really thought I would probably be either work in animation or work as a comic book illustrator because I was I painted a Wonder Woman mural, which still is there on my bedroom wall of Wonder Woman. There are stacks, and I have some still here. I'll not pull them out now, but of my teen Wonder Woman drawings. I mean, from
Wow.
10 to 16, it was every variation of Wonder Woman, and not just the TV show. It was not just Linda Carter. It was the Golden Age Wonder Woman from the 40s. It was, she lost her power. I mean, only geeks know this stuff. Only Wonder geeks know this stuff. Every variation, I drew every variation, anything about Wonder Woman. There was a book by Gloria Steinem that came out in 1972. I begged for. So it was she was my intro to feminism. She was my Wonder Woman. The original 1940s comics were actually a prevision of feminist ideology, sisterhood, self-reliance, matriarchy. All of those things were verbally expressed by the character, which, you think about during wartime, during the Second World War, and just afterward, that's phenomenal. But that's kind of what shaped me. So I'm very, very pro women strength.
You don't have a Wonder Woman tattoo on you anywhere, do you?
Hirsute for tattoos anywhere. No, maybe no, I would never, I could
But
never
there,
decide on anything that I would want as a tattoo.
but there are people who love your work so much that they do it, right?
Well, you were leading up to something. Yes,
Yes, I'm a good segue artist. So
man,
they love the work so much. There's, of course, Wonder Woman on the left, and then some people have been tattooing their incredible versions of your stuff, huh?
that is probably the biggest honor I could have, that someone would want to wear my illustration on their skin
Yeah.
for the rest of their life.
Yeah, incredible.
I don't know how that Wonder Woman's going to look when they're 80, but no, it's
Gravity may cause a few things to
yeah,
alter.
more. But what an honor, what a complete
Oh, yeah, huh?
honor. And people go, "Well, do you charge people for this?" Like, no. What if someone's it likes my work well enough to want to wear it on their skin? There are about 20 that I'm even aware of. 20 tattoos of my Golden Girls illustration on people around the planet. Probably more.
Really?
Yeah. I created that in
Wow.
2014. It will probably be the illustration it's been the one that's been ripped off and sold by other people the most.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. And it's also the one that is the most beloved and the most tattooed. And so, yeah, I mean, what an honor.
you've done so much work for so many, which I think is absolutely extraordinary. You even, and you know what's really cool is how topical you are as well. Like, you're very responsive to what's going on in the world, uh, including the passing of the beloved singer Ronnie Spector, who was actually a personal family friend of ours,
Wow.
and from the Ronettes. And you did this wonderful. Look at that. When I was going through, I was like, holy cow, I forgot he did that. That is fantastic. That is, I'm gonna show that to the family.
I'll send you some
I'm gonna
prints.
show it to her family. Yeah.
I mean, I
Fantastic.
was really, aware of her music, and I think I had been sort of aware of her personal story, but not to the extent. When I do an image of someone, I deep dive into
Who they are.
and biographies, and I really want to get as much information about what made that person beyond what they're known for,
Right.
And what a survivor! What an incredible talent! What an incredible life! What a survivor! Again, what some women go through, what most women go through in various ways. It's so,
Yeah.
women are just incredible, and her story is incredible. So.
Another one too, and their daughter was a guest on the show, of course, just recently, and she another great friend and another fabulous person. But you captured Lucy and Desi.
Oh my goodness! And I'm doing more Lucy's for her upcoming birthday. I mean, that's someone I drew as a kid. That I still have those drawings that I did watching I Love Lucy, and the different characters she did. And kids, of course, kids love Lucy. That's the one that's coming in color.
Now this is right now. This is I picked this because I wanted to show like some of the process, like you see the pencil there and everything. So is this like what stage of the process would you say this is right now? And then it's fantastic. If you stopped right there, everybody would love it, even as is.
This is what stage. I don't know if you can see this. This is what
cool.
So that's pre-inking line work, and then I'm going in. I don't always have time, as inking takes a long time. But so I take those pencil lines. There you can sort of see like that. I take those pencil lines, and I don't usually show that. It's literally on my table because I'll be working on it tonight. So there's the really, I don't know if I have like a super rough sketch here. I probably do. Well, this is a little, sometimes they start as the loosest, well, they always start as the loosest, roughest, but just like a few lines. And the thing for me is to, even if I don't have time to finish it, and that's the biggest, time is the biggest issue. It's getting that moment of inspiration. It is creating, just getting it down on paper. I may not have time to finesse it or work on it or finish it, but it is capturing that moment, because that moment will never reach. It's like acting. Again, it's like acting. When you go see a live play, or certain, depends what they choose in the editing for a TV show or movie, those magic moments will never return in the same way.
Yeah.
Again.
That's why I love doing live television and live radio and things live, because sometimes those magical moments aren't scripted, and they just breaking news. Where's the graphic? Breaking news. But it's that walking tightrope sort of situation, which I actually love, because you're on your toes. You got to keep it smooth and train on track. But anything can happen, and usually does, and it's how you roll with it that makes a difference. And I think it's a cool thing.
It is magic, because it's energy sent out through, if you're performing, it's sent out through your body in some way, and a voice or eyes, or if you're drawing, it's sent out. It's I'm not terribly metaphysical, but it is channeled energy. and it is magic.
It is.
It is magic.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So you're working, like you said, on the Lucy projects. We actually have this too, which not only have the Lucy, but you also have
all the previews of what's coming.
Jerry Mathers and Tony Dow. That is cool. And of course, we just lost Tony, and Jerry's wonderful. He was a guest on the show not that long ago, and he's just a straight shooter, nice guy.
Yeah,
but
really
this is cool to see sort of the way that this is like coming along and how you're working it. Some people were saying, I think a couple of people are asking, how long does it take, like here, Maureen in Arizona, how long does it take you to do one of your drawings? I guess that sort of depends, right? How do you know when you're done, when you're pleased, when you're happy with it?
I know when I'm done.
You do?
Oh yeah, I know when I'm done. I mean, I've worked it out. Per character to ink, close to 8 hours, depending on the complexity. If there's a number of characters, it really depends on the size and the complexity of the illustration. About a day to ink and a day to color. Now the pencil work might take 4 hours.
Yeah.
So now it just really depends on how far I want to take it. If that's what it is. But people think because I just throw this stuff out on social media, right? Because social media is an insatiable monster, and they go, oh, do this person, like I'm a fucking, excuse me, oops, sorry, I'm a freaking sorry folks, live TV,
like you're a machine, like you just grind it out overnight. Right.
No, even at my fastest, I'm about, like that Lucy vitamin regimen, that's about an hour. But that, to develop that to completion, that's going to take
you're a craftsman. Yeah, it takes time. Yeah.
So lay people don't really understand what it goes into that.
They think you're doing like a caricature, perhaps, that you do.
You mean like
a boardwalk or a carnival, where sit down and for $12 I'll draw you quickly, and it's not like that at all.
No, it's not. And I admire those people for what they can do. And I suppose I really wouldn't want to. I've done live stuff. I've done for different events and things a couple of times, but I find it at this point, I don't like to be observed while I draw, because I find I get too self-conscious. And people say on social media, well, why don't you film yourself? I'd love to see your process. It's like, no, that's me alone, not thinking about what I'm wearing, not thinking what I'm doing, not thinking about
who's watching, who's judging, who's critiquing.
Yeah, I just am so in the zone.
Yes, I'm that way too.
Yeah. Yes. And that's the only way that magic is going to happen.
Right.
Because once you become conscious of it and you start overanalyzing it, it's not magic anymore.
No, right. Do you have a tendency to do that if you let yourself do that? Could you overanalyze, overthink?
Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to?
Yes, that's a yes.
You spend pretty much 7 days a week doing this day alone, and ask me if you're going to overthink anything.
See, the reason why I was asking you is because I was asking for myself too. Sometimes I ask questions to get the answers for myself, because I can relate, being a creative person, and, in these industries too are demand exacting. Everything is time exact, get it right, get it good, make it good, have fun, all that. It's all, presented in a certain way that requires a lot of your stamina and a lot of your creativity, the ability to think on your feet, and all those great things.
I understand how much energy it takes
to do.
I'm putting energy into that. And even though I'm sitting, and people think, well, you're not working out, or you're not lifting a bale of hay or whatever. It is energy channeled, and that can be tiring in its own way. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, because it's a lot of mental. Do you ever have, you know, how sometimes writers have a writer's block? Do you ever have? You do, huh?
But when you're professional, you know this, right?
Yeah.
You know, every performer knows this. Every one who's still working. You get up and you do the show. You get up, you pull it
Go.
together,
Right.
you get out there and you do it. You
Yes.
don't have time. I mean, yeah, I'm not into it, and I admit that social media, the demands of social media, actually spurn me to work harder than I ever have before in my life. Not
Meaning in a way that you find pleasurable, or it's almost pushing you, forcing you,
forced
demanding.
to,
I
you,
I I agree with that.
but being topical
Right.
and
Yeah.
when
And always
something
having to be plugged in 24/7 too.
I did that Norman Lear sketch at 2 in the morning because I didn't even know that it was his 100th birthday, and to me, that had to be recognized.
Oh,
And thank
absolutely.
God he's easy to draw, thank God. But,
And you nailed it too. I mean, my God.
what I
Do the the folks that you're doing, like,
uh-huh.
would a Norman Lear ever see this? Do some of the folks get to
Well,
see
I
your
know
work?
people who know him,
Yeah.
whether they have shown him,
He'd
whether
love
they would
this.
show
Look
him.
at it. It's like it's so it's
It
it's
it
all in the eyes. It's that those eyes. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, some people,
You
some
nailed it.
famous people have seen my work and seen the images I've drawn of them.
The Arthur,
I don't think she saw that. The mod I
Maud.
did
Yeah.
for a book, and then I rendered all the characters separately for another book cover of the Golden Girls, but I've been able to, use them individually for
Yeah.
whatever purpose. But no, I mean, there's a number which is, incredibly amazing that I get to actually in some way be acknowledged or connect with these people. Some, I will have to say, take it for granted. Some
Mm,
don't even acknowledge it, even though they're being shown it by people who
really?
really know. Oh, yes. Oh,
Crazy.
come on. I'm sure you
Uh,
know a lot of.
oh, yeah. Yes.
How often do they get free gifts and free merchandise and
Mm,
free? Then
mhm.
that's sort of like, um,
You know George Jefferson would love this about him. He would love this.
what a talent he
Sherman
was.
Hemsley and
And I
Isabel
didn't
Stern.
even know,
The Jeffersons.
no idea he was gay.
Neither did I.
He was gay.
I didn't,
It never was revealed.
no,
Never.
no, no. And he played in Amen. Wasn't he a pastor in Amen too as
Uh-huh.
well, after the Jeffersons?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Great character, great actor.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And you really captured both he and Isabel. Wheezy, really great.
Some
Barbara. Look at all the incarnations of Barbara
a
Streisand too.
lot of her,
Gee.
favorite.
Now, has she seen any of this?
You didn't get the picture of her holding the ornament of mine?
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yes. She has been shown.
Look at this, folks. Look at the screen. Isn't this incredible artistry? Look at it. God, all through the years too.
That one was a gift to Rosie O'Donnell, which she did send me a nice card for the one when I had done that to celebrate that very special moment in her life when she'd had Barbara on her talk show. And
Yes.
so some people are very gracious and some people are not.
Yeah. This is a cool one with Barbara too. It's that I find that so surprising and sad, but I know what you mean. I know.
It is disappointing if it's someone you really like, but you at a certain point, if the audience likes it, that's the reward,
Right.
and I understand that people at that level have to be very careful about what they respond to
Yeah.
because it can be seen as I don't know, not an advocation, but
An endorsement or?
An endorsement, that's the word,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Now look
so,
who we have here. They're loving it.
well, those are all done with their permission through them,
Mhm.
through Broadway Cares.
Harvey Firestein and
Can't tell
Barbara
you who this
Streisand,
year is gonna be, but we're
Glenn
just,
Close.
yep. Every year for the past 7 years, I've done a different Broadway legend as an ornament. And that's a difficult process because um, those are blown in glass. So as a
Ah,
as a likeness-based design, it's very frustrating getting a sculpture version of that 2D design that can be blown in glass and not break.
yeah.
Noses are too big, or fingers stick out, or elbows stick out.
Yeah.
It's gonna break.
Right.
And so for me, it's a challenging process to go through, not the even the initial design, because I have to keep those technicalities in mind, but the realization of it, from design to sculpt
Yeah.
to paint to final ornament. And there's been one that was a huge disappointment. I'm not going to tell you which one, but it just broke my heart because it's like my reputation on the line. You
Mm.
have no control over
Yeah.
the final product. So,
Yeah. That's really cool. So it looks like Glenn Close, Barbara Streisand, and Harvey Firestein, they love theirs.
well, they're kind enough to take pictures because the ornaments are for charity.
Yes.
So they're generous and kind enough to post these on their social media, which obviously encourage sales. And some have sold out. In the Liza Minnelli, I think that one sold out. The Barbara, they did two manufacturers of it. Those all sold out.
Wow. That's
So
incredible. This is great too, huh? This nice.
I was happy how that one turned out. I was very worried about it.
Yeah. Right.
The subtleties of the face, obviously,
Incredible.
it's very frustrating for me between what I design and what gets done, because of course I want it to be perfect, and it's not plastic. It doesn't have you can't quite get the subtleties that you would if it was done in or resin.
Right.
There's
Right.
so many maquettes now and merchant, all of these licensed superhero toys and dolls and statues, and they're
Yeah.
so perfect. They're
Yes.
so perfect, but they're not being blown in glass. So, uh, that's the nature of that.
You also did one of my favorites, and I don't know if you've met her, but I've had the pleasure multiple times, and she's amazing. Carol Burnett. Look at
You want
that gang.
to hear my Carol Burnett story?
Yes, I'd love it. Look at that gang. There's Carol Burnett.
That's probably the ornament I'm most happy with in terms of how it turned out, is the simplicity of the character, and her features just were very easy to
Yeah.
build. Well, so I am from Canada, and I did get an O1 visa based on my career, to move from Toronto to New York, which I did in 1995.
Yeah.
And I had a friend from Toronto who had also moved down to New York, and she was doing makeup. She had done makeup for a lot of people, including Carol Burnett, and she had seen the drawings I did. I think I showed her the ones I did as a child, and then more contemporary ones. And I'd been hired to draw Carol, as with Barbara, as with many, 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 many people, for any number of those magazines, and far more than you mentioned at the outset. So I had, for many of these people, I had a whole catalog of images. So anyway, she showed the illustrations to Carol, and I was sitting in my apartment in New York one evening, and I get a call on the phone. It was very shortly after I had moved to New York, so I didn't really know anyone in New York yet, other than clients. And so the other end of the phone, I was like, "Hi, is Glen Hanson there?" And I thought it was one of my friends from Toronto joking with me. I said, "He surely is." He goes, "This is Carol Burnett." I think I just peed my pants.
Yeah. You're like,
He
come on.
was so sweet. I mean, you'll never hear a bad story about Carol Burnett.
No, she's one of
You'll
those
never.
you don't.
The kindest, nicest. She told me that she had wanted to be an illustrator when she was a little girl. She said just before she was coming back into New York to do Moon Over Buffalo. She told me she was going to be doing that. I did get to meet her then. But I mean, just so generous and so kind. And then, to be an icon and to be the person that, we all watched growing up and so talented. And so, everyone, she worked with everyone.
Everybody.
And you don't get that combination of generousness and down-to-earthness and talent often at that level.
No, I would say people ask me if people that I've met, that are in certain stratospheres, who would they be that match that? Definitely Carol is right there. Florence Henderson too. Florence Henderson. Yeah, right.
I did something for the Smithsonian that was legendary ladies of Broadway, or like theater, TV, movies, and it was Esther Williams and Florence Henderson and Angela Lansbury and Carol Channing. I got to meet all of them except for Angela, and at that event, including Florence. What I was struck by when I met Tippi Hedren was another one.
Tippi Hedren, yeah.
I'm standing like this, talking to them, and first, like, how beautiful they were. Like Florence, those eyes, and Tippi, the same thing. It's like this was 15 years ago, so you have to imagine back in the day.
Yeah.
But I mean, these are real. I think the older generation, not all of them, but the older generation, they're show people. They're entertainers. They're troopers. They are the most professional. They are the ones who would get up on stage. They weren't the ones who did, shitty theater, and they've been, so they're much more.
The Dick Van Dykes, the Julie Andrews, the Mary Tyler Moores. Oh, Dick Van Dyke. He's on the list. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I've done a rough sketch, which I did.
I want him to live forever.
Oh, I can't even express. And I did get a nice note from Mary Tyler Moore, although I was at a public event and she was standing over there with her husband. This is in New York again. And I wanted to go say hi because she'd already gotten that sketch that I had done and sent a nice note and everything. And the security guard wouldn't let me. I said, but she knows that you know.
She's got my
No. I think, but no. I mean, I have a couple stories like that where
you couldn't even get to
people I know, people I've met, people I literally know, people I've stooked who are famous.
Was that a car that just took off, or was that a sound effect record? That sounded like a car that you heard on an animated show. Didn't even sound real.
But, and then, people, because someone said, a whole bunch of us are getting together at the Chateau Marmont. Why don't you come by at the bar? And I didn't have a cell phone at that time. It was right after I moved to LA. And so I didn't have his number with me. He just said, come by the Chateau Marmont. They wouldn't let me in. And I said, well, call this person. He's in there. He told me to meet him here. Call him. And he said, well, we can't get a hold of him. So I stood outside for a half an hour and they wouldn't let me in ultimately. And I just started walking away. And I already spent like half an hour just trying to find parking there. It's a nightmare.
Did these people ever find out? Did you ever get a chance?
Yeah, well, so they finally got
Mary Tyler Moore or the others?
No.
This
guy did, because he was in the bar. And I was walking away. I was like 2 blocks down the street. And the security guard comes. This is the difference between being treated as a human being with equality and being treated as a celebrity or someone who has matters, which is the way that the entertainment industry and celebrity and all that crap is. Came running after me. He goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Hanson. We just got in touch with so and so, and yes, they said that please come in." It's like, oh, so you're treating me like a human being with politeness and just general politeness and respect, and I wasn't lying, and it's just bullshit. It's BS.
What's
That's the
amazing too is,
criteria of treating people.
well, why, as you've probably observed multiple times, like you're explaining to our viewers watching, oftentimes it's not even the person.
Oh, no, no, no.
It's
It's
not
never
the
the person.
celebrity. It's not the talent.
Mm-mm.
It's the handler. It's the
It's
people
people are, yeah.
around.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen it happen. I've seen
Me.
it happen in some of my work with public television, PBS,
Yeah,
and elsewhere,
yeah, yeah.
where talent is fabulous. The
Oh my
talent's
god.
like, I
Yeah,
want to shake hands.
yeah.
Good stuff, but uh,
It's the gatekeepers. It's the people around
it's
them.
like, and it makes the talent sometimes not look so good because people assume the talent is directing them to say and do everything that's being said and done. And a lot of times they don't even know.
It's weird because, again, when I lived in New York, in Manhattan, I would just be walking on the street, and we're walking by a coffee shop, and there's Quentin Tarantino sitting in the
Mm,
window writing, and past Sam Waterston on the street. I passed Stephen
yeah.
Sondheim on the street. It was
Yes.
hard not to like just get down on my knees. It's
Did you
just
start
like,
singing somewhere?
I wouldn't torture him with that. But I mean, I get past the cell phone. I mean, I could name them off because they're just New York then. This was pre-cell phone, pre-social media. Um, People were just people. They're
Yeah.
out on the street. I have to go from A to B. I'm on the subway. I'm doing this. I'm doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It was just right.
Out here, it's not like that. And people are very sequestered. They're very suspicious, and justifiably so. I understand the agendas of other people and how they're imposed upon celebrities.
It's a different
But
thing. Yeah.
I don't know. Is New York still that way? Is it still just human?
Well, you can just go up to, hey, who was,
Love to, but I
we
mean,
lost him, and hey, here's another friend, but one of the nicest guys on the planet, one of the most enthusiastic and passionate, Regis Philbin. You can go up to Regis in the street and he's like, hey, hey,
yeah,
I'm saving the network. I'm only one man, all those things. I'm carrying the network.
yeah,
He's just a great guy, just,
yeah.
really authentic. And even me in my work that I've gone to like a supermarket, and there would be somebody that's like peeking around the corner of the produce section and looking and pointing to the husband, is like, is that, do I, and like almost intimidated or afraid to come up to say hello. And I'll go right up to them and say, hi, how are you? And they'll be like, first they'll be like, uh, but then they realize that I'm approachable and hi, and very cognizant of that, of people and their feelings. People have feelings, and
Yeah.
sometimes our world forgets that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can easily destroy somebody with one word. You could take somebody who has admired the work of somebody, or whatever, the personality of somebody, the humor of somebody,
Yes.
and somebody on behalf of the person that's being admired
Uh-huh.
can destroy it for that person who probably drove 800 miles in a snowstorm to get there and
Mhm.
then to be blocked, or it's a tough thing. It really is a tough you know
I'm certainly not the face of what I do. My art is the face of what I do. But if I'm ever, first of all, if anyone sends me a compliment on social media or email, yeah, I'm going to return that compliment. I'm going to say thank you because they took that moment out to show their appreciation. And why would I take that for granted? Because I know what it feels like when it is taken for granted.
Do you know who told me, who wrote back to literally just about everybody that ever wrote to her, was Florence Henderson. She told
Yeah.
me that about 3 weeks before she passed
And
away.
Joan Crawford.
Yeah, yeah,
Love Joan.
yeah.
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 You know, I think Florence is probably more sincere than Joan. That's old time. That's
what
like,
it is.
you know,
I showed the Sondheim and they're commenting about it. That's exquisite. I mean, look at that.
I have prints of everything you've seen. But
That's
you know,
the thing too. Like these things, yeah, they are available through
if
your
I
website, through glenhanson.com.
well, I would hit me up on social media. That's probably better. My website is in dire need of an update.
Still looks nice, but yeah, I know what you mean. Insta and
Yeah, if
then
I'm out and I see someone wearing a shirt with my image on it, I was like, "Hey, that's mine." Or, you know,
how long did it take to do this, the Stephen Sondheim? I mean, and was this done prior to his passing?
no. Again,
That's what I'm saying. You're amazing how you could, how reactionary you are. It's incredible.
to turn that over in less than 24 hours. And did
This in
whatever else I was
24
working on
hours?
had to be put aside. A legend, you know,
Yeah.
in my
24
humble
hours.
opinion, who is equal of Shakespeare in terms
Yeah.
of theater and drama and the understanding the human condition.
Yes.
Drop everything, pay tribute.
24 hours.
All I can do.
That's incredible.
So, you know, those are moments you have to be prepared. And again, you do have to jump on it in that moment. You can't wait. I mean,
Tammy Faye Baker. When was that one done? When the movie came out recently or before?
Yeah, that was when the movie came out.
Yeah.
I think I may have drawn her once, but I didn't have a copy of it, or I had gone from my memory. And then the movie.
I mean, you really captured her. It's exact. It's like,
thank you.
The expression, the feeling.
Her daughter and son saw that, and I sent her daughter. Her daughter was really sweet and really appreciative of it. And
Jamie Charles, the son, saw it too. Yeah,
they did. And that's social media. You know, the ability to connect with people. It's
Tammy Sue is the daughter, right?
Yeah,
that looks terrific. I mean, that's. I mean,
you know, that makeup looks pretty. By getting all those colors.
Yeah.
There's about I mean, women know this.
Yeah.
Women and makeup artists know this. There's about, oh my goodness, 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to count how many colors are just in her eye makeup alone.
Just in the eye.
At least 5 colors to make up the shading, to make up the highlights, so I'm part, you know, actor, part makeup artist, part set designer.
Yes, storyteller. You know, it's a story, right? It's a story.
All the stuff I have to employ.
Betty White through the years too. You can see the incarnations, of course. Absolutely. Sue Nivens, and Golden Girls, the whole thing.
Another legend, another person who was, you know, beloved.
Yes.
I never heard a bad story about Betty.
Yeah.
Never got a chance to meet her, unfortunately, but
we've lost a lot of people in the last year. So many. Yeah.
You know, as we're getting older, the people we grew up with are disappearing, you know.
Here's one. This is incredible. Now, gang, look at the detail. That's Katharine Hepburn, of course. I mean, don't you almost feel like you're looking directly at Katharine? How long did that take? I mean, this is absolutely fantastic.
Okay,
this is really...
I'm not going to brag, but I'm just going to tell you what happened. So I was lying in bed watching it, not for the first time. the Dick Cavett interview.
Dick Cavett? Oh, that's a good one where she sort of puts her...
Oh my God. She literally walked on set in the middle of the afternoon because he was considering doing it. And she goes, just do it now.
Right. And do you have to have this brown carpet? And do we need this coffee table? And she's rearranging the set.
Listens. You know, she's literally ordering the people on the set. But you know, again, observing behavior, Katharine needed control. Yeah. She needed to dictate when that was going to be done. She needed to dictate where she was going to sit. She needed to dictate where she was going to put her feet up. She went into that studio sort of on the spur of the moment.
Dictating to Dick Cavett.
And then the only way she was going to do something she was uncomfortable with doing, interview
It had to
is
be.
by dominating. And you see how she dominates men. And it's really interesting. And I've noticed this about a lot of big female celebrities. Madonna's one, and Barbra Streisand's one. When they're interviewed, they're going to turn that around. They're going to control it. And they may do it by, Madonna tends to condescend. That's how she sort of like, it's really interesting watching celebrities at that level be comfortable with the circumstance of doing something they don't maybe want to do, or how they are going to how they take control of any situation. It has to be their way. And Dustin Hoffman said, when they were trying to convince Barbra Streisand to do the Fockers, he turned to the director because they went to her home to kind of, beg her to do it. He goes, she's the top. She needs to be the top. But I mean, it's fascinating if you sit back. Again, those Cabot interviews are just gold.
Yes.
The Brando one, what I noticed was, despite the fact that he was still gorgeous at 50 something, was that the reason he was such a good actor is because he didn't want to talk about himself.
Mm-hmm.
He was an observer.
Yeah. Yes.
And he changes anything away from him or his career or his performances, and he wants to talk about other things, or he wants to ask you questions. Right. And and that's a brain at work to learn, not to turn the focus back on them, but to learn. And I find that fascinating.
I do that a lot too. Yeah, I do that. I catch myself doing that a lot. Did you see the episode with Don Rickles and Beverly Sills?
Yes.
That's,
oh yeah.
That is.
And the Bette Davis was more than one Bette Davis one, and the
Lucille Ball, Lucio Nez, and Carol Burnett together. Orson Welles. I mean,
I watched
just
them all.
fantastic longer form conversations, which is
the one with Janis Joplin on the same stage. Janis Joplin, Raquel Welch, and Douglas Fairbanks Jr. And then it was Gloria Swanson. But I think it was Janis and Raquel and Gloria, and they're all talking. They're all having a conversation.
Conversation. That's what it is, and that's what I love. Not an interview, but a conversation.
A conversation. It's like, first of all, how do you get Janis Joplin?
How do you get these people
on the same stage, and then just let the conversation flow?
John Crawford was on. Yeah, I saw that one, and Yes. Yeah. Decades channel runs Dick Cavett.
Okay.
All of his episodes, Dick Cavett. I think it's weeknights at 10 p.m. on Decades. All of the full length Dick Cavetts, which are great. And of course, Decades also runs The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson too. All of the re-airs of all of that. I mean,
the fact that on Carson, which was the most mainstream.
And you did such a great job with this. My God, there he is. I mean,
he had his own line of suits, man. He had his own line of clothes.
Yes.
The fact that Carson would have the difference between our culture then, and the same with Cabot, because they had a lot of the same people on, that they would have Truman Capote on, and they would have Gore Vidal on.
Yeah.
And the fact they would have authors on.
Yeah. And even everyday people too.
Do you see authors being interviewed today on any talk show?
No. It's got to be quick hit buzz. Somebody that's
coming out with something. It's got to be something that's coming out. It's got to be something.
It's got to be a movie, a DVD, something that's tickets to a concert, and it's factory. It's very. That's one thing I said I didn't want to do with this show is I didn't want it to be a factory.
It's all kind of PR driven,
That's about it, right? And even that, when we do have that, I still like to mold it into a conversation. Let's okay, there is the movie and it's fabulous. Let's talk about it. What was it like? The music that's coming out, whatever it is. But who are you? Let's talk
Yeah,
about you. I mean, what led you to even want to go into the arena to make movies or to make music or to do because
yeah,
when you get those kinds of things, I think everybody wins. I think the movie wins. I think the music wins. The
yeah,
tour for tickets wins. The viewers win. I win, and the guest wins when you sort of blend all of that. It's sort of like an ongoing ballet between it all, without it seemingly commercialized and
yeah,
factory assembly
yeah,
line.
yeah.
It's
Well, it's
same
not human.
questions, same
The
stuff.
human, it's the personal story
Very
is
important.
fascinating to me. I'm not interested in the product per se,
Right.
unless it's a film that or something or TV show where I really want to hear about the process. I'm
Right.
interested in the artist process or the creative process, or I'm interested in the person, you know.
Right. Exactly. That's what it's all about.
I'm
Exactly.
probably boring everyone with this.
No, they love it. They're all commenting. They're mesmerized by what they're seeing with your work. They're commenting about the work
Wait, let
and
me talk about myself for a second. What? What are
right.
the pencils that I use? This is the brand of pencil that I use, and you can get this pencil. Yeah. Anyway, so
Show the pencil. They do want to see it. Actually, tell us about the studio, the room you're in. People love to see that.
we're a room I spend most of my life in. This is my
Do
studio,
they
and
slip the food under the door?
unfortunately, I have to cook for myself, and I don't cook, so it's like a salad or a shake or
Yeah.
energy bar or whatever. Maybe a
That's
little time
California.
to work out or stretch. But that
You're on the
that
East
file
Coast,
back
you'd have
there,
hot dogs and pizza.
I don't eat those things. At a certain age, you have to stop eating those things. That file back there has all the prints in it, and they're categorized by TV show, movie. So I can find them easily when I send them out. That's where I do my cutting. That's the mat where I do my cutting of cardboard and stuff. As Olivia Newton-John albums a friend gave me. That's a beautiful piece of artwork, hand painted by my niece. I don't know. There's the orange garbage can. Yeah, I mean, so this is where my desk is here.
We knew your garbage can wouldn't be boring. You wouldn't have just a gray or
Oh,
black one.
color. Embrace. I love color, obviously.
Yes.
Um, I like color. I want to be in an environment that, I mean, there's a lot of light that comes in here. I'm actually, I was really fortunate that I got to go through the lockdown 2 years ago in this space because not that my life is any different than lockdown all the time, but it's a really big space and it's a penthouse, so it gets light all the way around. Now, it's not in a very nice neighborhood. It's in Koreatown in Los Angeles, and I could tell you, you want to hear stories, my friend. You want to hear stories that will curl your hair. This neighborhood is an endless source of. It's not very safe. Let's put it that way. And
Is there any source of inspiration at all? Because it is so raw and real. Is there any?
I don't draw people smoking meth very often. The last time I drew
Somebody with a cigarette in their hands or
a hooker waiting with her John's car idling outside. It's been a while since I've drawn.
idling outside.
Well, I have drawn Clute, which is a phenomenal performance by a phenomenal actress. But no, I haven't. No, the things that go on. I haven't drawn a man with a samurai sword attacking another man, as happened just down the block from me. I'm not going to keep going because
any thought of changing zip codes or? Yes.
But you know what? I don't need all the space I have. But right now, the rental market.
Oh, it's on. You can't even get
It's
a closet. Yeah.
I mean,
it's getting
insane.
more and more and more now.
It's
Yeah.
insane. I mean, just the overhead for everything. It's there's no one who's not struggling.
Affected by everything, right? Yeah.
Because the 1% isn't struggling, and especially for them.
Right. The work has to just keep coming in and flowing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I
You
mean,
know,
you
it's
have to. I quite honestly, I've been my career's I've been working professionally since I was 24, and I was lucky enough to get work right away. In fact, in many ways, the market was better. I mean, there's almost no print media left, which was like bread and butter for me.
plus because you're really talented. They see the talent.
And
They see the passion too.
yeah, and I just took my portfolio around.
They
And
see
that's
that you care.
what I do.
Right.
Come
You're
on,
gonna.
take
You know
it.
who else sees that? Blink 182 knows that.
Another segue.
I tell you.
Are they here? Are they in the studio?
I was going to say they're in makeup right now. Look at this. Tell us about this.
That was a very fortunate
Yeah.
circumstance. I was working at MTV Animation, or directing a series in the year 2000, and an art director for their label saw a promo piece that my agent had sent out, print promo piece, because there was no social media then, and he liked it, the style, and he contacted my agent about me doing a wraparound CD cover for the band, and I did. And I
Incredible.
had no idea that there's an entire generation of kids who love Blink-182. I mean, they're huge, but who love that CD cover.
Yeah.
And who, it's a fond memory from their youth.
And you're the guy that did it. Yeah.
And I'm the guy, and for me at that time, I have to say, I mean, yeah, I put everything into it, but it was just another job. It was like, okay, so I'm working full-time at MTV. I'm doing this job. I was doing a syndicated comic strip at the same time. I was doing spot illustrations at the same time. It's like, okay, well, this is another job. This is what I'm working on. Da, da, da. And
Yeah.
you don't think, oh, this is gonna last for years. This is gonna be something that will be part of the
Culture.
culture.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's incredible. Well, there have been many things that you've worked on that either already were part of the culture and you got a chance to work with and on them, or they became part. One of them, of course, the Jetsons. I mean,
Yeah, when Turner merged with Time Warner, and then the DC was already part of Warner.
right.
Then all the Hanna-Barbera characters that I had drawn, Flintstones and Jetsons, fell under the umbrella of Time Warner. And
Right.
so, but the ironic thing was I love these. I love doing them. I did for like a year and a half. I did every cover and many interiors for both the Jetsons and the Flintstones.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, I had already done British Vogue and British GQ.
Yes.
But I needed money. That was a point. I needed money, and this was steady money. And it's like an actor. Again, I have to go back to that. You get the big lead roles, and then you get the character parts, and your career goes like this. And you got to take what is offered in that moment, and you got to pay the bills.
Last week you got an Oscar, and next week you're in a Viagra commercial.
I think getting an Oscar would actually alleviate the need for Viagra.
I was going to say.
Or at least get some dates for you.
I'm
sure it's been leveraged in that way.
Right.
Did you see
in both instances, you have to rise to the occasion. So, I mean, it's like, don't you?
Audience.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Truth. It's like.
With help. Yeah.
It's all in how you interpret, right?
Yeah.
You're now watching an episode of Match Game. Look at this shot. You mentioned Olivia Newton-John.
Oh, again, now there's someone I should have mentioned as imagine everything you want Olivia to be.
Yes.
She's that and more. The sweetest, nicest, most lovely woman you could imagine. And,
Mhm.
and then and can't take a bad picture.
No.
I mean, it was amazing.
Fabulous smile, personality.
Oh my goodness. And just the centeredness and the heart and the generosity, not an ounce of pettiness or and here's someone who was, at one time the biggest female pop star in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Literally,
Physical,
literally 40 years
Xanadu.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
40 years ago, Physical came out. It was the #1 album. It was
Yeah.
single. She was the number one. It was just before Madonna, and she was the #1 female artist in the world. She's gone through a long career. Her PR guy said that no matter how tired or sick she was from cancer, even if she was lying on the floor of her dressing room in pain, she would get up and do the meet and greets with people. Because she said to him, and she would wait to the last person in line if she was doing a signing or something. She said, well, they came here to see me, and they made that effort. I mean, those ethics, that kind
Yeah.
of, that
Yeah.
is exceptional.
Yeah. And oftentimes, unfortunately, rare.
Yeah,
It's
exceptional.
yeah.
Exceptional.
Yeah. The work that you've done, you even did Meghan Markle and Prince Harry there, huh?
Had to jump on that one right after the Oprah
Did yeah, right. That was right after the Oprah interview.
literally that
Wow.
night. Yeah. I mean, again, you stay top. Like I did the inauguration illustration, and the inauguration happened, and then I got right to work. And 2 days later, I posted that image, and it went viral. Amanda Gorman shared it.
This went
Yeah.
viral. Well, congratulations.
No,
Yeah.
not this one. The inauguration
Oh, the inauguration one.
with
Oh, yeah.
all the women lined up. And that one, it went viral, and I couldn't even control it. I was not prepared for what happened, the deluge of what happened,
Wow.
and the fact that it got shared without credit, which is why I scroll my name across the images, because otherwise no one will ever know.
Yes.
That's the obscene thing about social media, that once
There
it's
it
on,
is.
people
It's this one,
assume.
right?
Yep,
Yeah.
it went viral. It went viral in 4 hours.
That's incredible.
And it was more than I couldn't even wrap my head around what was happening as the likes began to go into the thousands and thousands, and then other people would share it, and the likes would go into the thousands.
Such a
And
positive representation too.
positive moment, and for women, and for a wide cross section of
For
women.
everybody, yeah. Hope,
Uh,
and tell everybody in case they're not quite sure. Tell us who's the folks that are in it, of course.
from left to right, it would be J-Lo, Lady Gaga, the First Lady, Jill Biden, the first female vice president in the world, or in the United States, Kamala Harris, Amanda Gorman, a brilliant young talent who emerged on the world stage at that event, and then, of course, Michelle Obama, who's just the friggin' coolest. I mean, doesn't she look? She looks like a cross between Cleopatra Jones and like, I mean, how cool is this? Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible day.
Yeah.
It was an incredible assemblage, but it was very, and also there's a stupid technical illustration thing, but the color story was really interesting.
Yes.
And I found that, yeah, it
Yeah.
was
Well done.
um,
Yeah. People
incredible.
really.
And then it got used by a book. It got printed in a book about Kamala Harris, a hardcover book. Legit.
Incredible. Isn't that
So
incredible?
you just never know what's going to happen. You throw it out there,
Wow.
and you never know. And this is what's so upsetting about what's happening with Instagram right now, is they're changing their algorithms, and we're all seeing things that we're not really that interested in, as opposed to people that we follow. Is that I'm not getting the engagement level that I used to, that I did a year ago, because they're screwing with what's getting seen. They're clogging up our news feeds, or our feeds, with all this other
They want to
video.
be TikTok.
Yeah, all this Reels crap that from people that I don't want to look at this.
Somebody that's dancing upside down in their living room or whatever, and it's like
For this stuff.
6 seconds of fame. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
here you are busted. You're busting
your.
your you know what, trying to
Yeah.
draw these fabulous pieces of art, and the person that
And other people
spits
who
up on the video in 6 seconds gets a billion views, a movie deal, and books.
Yeah, it's just it's really, we're all
Something's backwards.
in the hands of these corporations who
telling us what we.
Yeah, who have sort of moved us all into this new form of communication, which certainly benefited me during the lockdown, because no one had anywhere to go. And now, for their own corporate interests, they're redirecting our attention away from what we want to see to other stuff that.
It's almost like brainwashing in a way or something, right? Like a
It
Twilight
is,
Zone
it's
episode.
very distracting. I mean, it's a distraction to begin with, but
I've never followed that. I've never followed necessarily the cattle in any way, shape. I've just never. I've been plugged in, can do what I need to do, but never fully followed it or bought into it.
Well, because
and that's interesting for us to say that, you and I being in these industries,
yeah,
you know, doing what we do. But I'm glad I never fully bought into, you know, sold my soul and bought into any of that. Just never. There's a limit.
It's integral, but we remember a time of greater.
You earned it. You
quality,
earned it, and
right? If you were successful, if you were famous,
farm system. It's like a farm system. Yeah.
it was based on some skill. It was based on a talent or an achievement level in some regard. And now, you know, watching someone, you know, work out or you know, eat pasta or whatever they do, put on their makeup. It's like, that's not.
Yeah.
I mean,
7 million views because they're eating pasta.
But I mean, like, you know, some kid in their bathroom putting on, you know, or dancing around, like, that's great. Okay, so that's America's Home Videos. Great. Okay, well, I didn't watch that show then, and I'm not interested in TikTok now. That's not going to feed me. It's not going to feed my brain. It's not going to feed my heart. It's not going to feed me. It's not quantitative. It's not qualitative. Quality?
All of the above. All of it. I'll throw it in. All the Q words.
Yeah.
It's
Except
very.
Not that one.
Or no. Yeah. Exactly. Look at this. Oh, this is cool.
Is one of the, and I'm just set to do another one. So of course this stopped during
the
COVID.
whole. Yeah.
But I over the past 4 years, I've been doing these group caricatures of the variety of talent that they have on the playbill cruises, and it's fantastic because, you know, these are people that most of the time are you know, big on the Broadway stage, in live theater, but they're not really that known outside of that world. But you know, again, I love celebrating talent, and this was a thematic cruise. They went to Greece on that one. So I get to have a bit of fun with that, and
nice.
That's a cool thing.
Look at this one where you see all the different. This is really cool.
You know, it's really funny what people respond to, because remember when X-Files was the #1 show? Like, everyone was watching X-Files. So I had done that image back then. So that's from 1995, and then I colored it maybe 6 years ago in Photoshop. When I reposted that on social media, it's the same with MASH, which was the #1 show. It's the same with Seinfeld, which was the #1 show. I mean, I drew Kirk Douglas from Spartacus, which is a huge Oscar-winning movie back in the day, and I mean, it's Kubrick, so it's well regarded as a cinematic piece. And you post these things today, and other people don't know about them, or they
I
don't
don't know who they are. I mean,
yeah, it's amazing the way popular culture works. And of course, younger people don't know much beyond their, earlier than when they were born, if that.
oh yeah, if you mention Jackie Gleason, they're like, what?
Oh, but I mean, even people our age. I mean, when I posted that X-Files image, I thought, oh yeah, people will really be into that. That'll be cool. It was a super popular show. Everyone watched that show.
Yeah.
No interest.
No.
Emma
Exactly.
Peel. Emma Peel was like a major fashion. I mean, I did that after she passed. So it's Diana Rigg. Huge,
Yeah.
huge thing, and huge for me when I was in my 20s. Like everyone in my 20s, all of my contemporaries, even though the 60s was decades prior, everyone knew who Emma Peel was.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
It's just amazing that
you got Angela Lansbury in there, and Spock, and Luke Perry, and yeah, you got a whole
it's interesting because
Madonna.
our generation had more curiosity about the past. That
Or
doesn't
more respect for it too.
Absolutely.
Now whatever happened 10 minutes ago is considered passé,
Yeah.
outdated,
and then you look at things
irrelevant.
politically and you wonder why things repeat themselves. It's like, well, because you don't know what led to the Second World War. You don't know the rise of fascism. You don't understand the political trajectory, even of the US throughout the 20th century, not to mention prior to that. You don't, it's cyclical, and it. So if you don't understand, the quote: if you don't learn from the past, you're doomed to repeat it.
Repeat it, right?
So beyond a pop culture perspective, if you don't sort of know what to be wary of based on history, it's dangerous.
And if it happens, you can't say, hey, how did this happen? Because maybe sleep at the wheel a little bit, and just, it is absolutely crazy stuff for sure. There's so many fabulous. Here's another one here. Look at this. This is cool.
Now, you work for PBS, so I was hired.
Downton Abbey, yeah.
Yeah, there's a PBS. I know they're all different local stations. So this was PBS Houston.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the fellow had an after show, a Downton Abbey after show. And he hired me to do, so every episode there would be like a winner and loser, like the best, something like that. So like who kind of didn't fare well that episode and who did. So I got to draw, I think in total about 20 of the cast.
Of the Downton Abbey cast, yeah. Wow.
So that was fun. And I was a different slight spin on the style. And those were rendered in pencil and then scanned in and with a little bit of shading in Photoshop. So
I'm glad you described that, because people may be looking at it and say, okay, so what's this technique considered or called? But yeah.
And I wanted to give it an older portrait look. And so, I love doing stuff like that.
It's really fantastic.
Different,
You even did the Brady Bunch house.
That was a lot of work. Oh my God.
Was it really? Especially when they HGTV renovated it.
That's what I did it, I think prior to or just before that show aired.
Yeah.
As it was airing or about to air.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work because of the detail, because getting all of that architecture and getting all of the shrubbery and everything and really going in and looking at the screen snaps from the episodes and it's like, what's a common, but we all grew up wanting to live in that house, didn't we? I mean,
yes. Did you see it? Did you go over to take a look at it?
I didn't. But those beautiful mid-century, and there's something about mid-century architecture that was aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
But also
that window never existed. They added that window. Right. I saw it when I saw it when they were doing it. I was on a TV shoot in LA and I said, I got to go find a couple of houses. And one of them was, I got to find the Brady Bunch house. And then I have to find the house in Pasadena that was used for Family with Christy McNichol,
Oh,
and
yes.
Sada
Yeah.
Thompson, James Broderick, Meredith. Beautiful house that's still there in Pasadena that they used for that series, and really, really cool to see it. But
And then so many of the houses that we used to see, like Bewitched or the Partridge Family, they're all on backlots. They look like
right, they're not the real right. Those are real houses, but those are lots, right?
But I
Exactly.
believe there's a house that the Bewitched house is based on, but it's a real house, and I think it's here in LA, but closer to the water. I believe there is. I read that or saw
That
that.
facade that was used for the Bewitched house there in that ranch. What did they call it? Was it the Paramount Ranch or Warner Brothers Ranch? I forgot what
Yeah.
that whole street, all those Dennis the Menace, Gidget, Hazel, I Dream of Jeannie, all those houses were sort of
They were.
worked. But the
You
one,
would-
the Bewitched house was
Yeah.
also, if you look at wide shots of the street when you're watching I Dream of Jeannie, it's
There
Dr.
it is.
Bellows' house.
Funny because the way they must have scheduled shoot days. It's like, okay,
Right,
well,
because
we
they were
need it
both
Tuesday, and you could use it Thursday, and
right.
exterior a lot. And it's so funny because the same with the Partridge Family. You see the bus going down the street, like, there's the Bewitched house.
There's the Bewitched
They're on
house.
the same street.
Yeah.
So
And then it was Dr. Bellows as well. Here's I mentioned this as well too. Goddess Girls. Tell us about the work with this. This is cool.
well, that kind of happened out of the blue. I don't know how they found me because I mean I'd worked in animation, but I hadn't done not done too much kids stuff. I mean some, but I'm a huge Greek mythology fan. I'm just more than a fan. I've done not ancient Greece and Greek mythology. And so I got contacted by the art director from Simon & Schuster, and they said we have this new girls series for tween girls, and it's aging the goddesses down to 8 to 12 age, and they're in middle school, and they're taking the classic myths and they're kind of doing spins on those actual stories, but fleshing them out, but aging them down. And I thought, what a great introduction to Greek mythology for young girls, and they're girl-centric, so they're girl strong, which is great. And so we started with 4 covers in 2009, and it was huge success. I ended up doing 26 covers over 11 years, and it was just like they would do 4 a year, and then they went international with them, so they were translated in different languages, and my niece read them. They were in the library where she went to school, and she loved them, which was a total bonus for me. It was that I'm working on a project that has appeal for my 8-year-old niece, and
cool.
And the fact that they were published internationally, and sometimes they would change the cover, so it would be other illustrations depending upon that country. But I'd always wanted it to be an animated series, but there were some issues with that. I will go into detail if you want, but let's just say no. If you ask me, I'll tell you what I'm going to say.
So what happened? So what happened, Glenn?
The problem was not Simon & Schuster. Well, those authors, this was their first, I think, don't quote me on this, their first book series for that audience, to my knowledge, together. And they branched out. They did fairy tale versions, and so they had a tremendous amount. And they did a boy version, like little god boys, that age group. And I'm just going to tell you. So when I started, it was a love relationship between everyone. And this is back in 2009. And I, of course, my background was animation. I said, I know every development person in the animation industry in LA. I've done work for them. I can call them up. I have an agent. I said, and the books hadn't come out yet. I said, would you, we should put this together as an animated series. And I I'm already doing the covers, so I can do that and help you. I've done animation development, so I could help you kind of figure out how to write episodes, on a long term, but you'd be the writers and I'd be the visual guy. And they were all into that. And then like a couple of years went by and their agent got involved and my agent spoke to their agent. And it was one of the cruelest, most short-sighted, petty things I have ever heard anyone say. So first of all, the series has never, the book series has never been adapted, to this day has never been adapted.
Still never been.
With all the success they've had, all the print runs in hardcover and softcover, all the languages, there's international success, right? So you would think, built-in audience, you got a series. Their agent wanted total control. Their agent wanted to pitch it alone, although that agent never even got in the door, to my knowledge. She told my agent, "Oh, if this happens this series, Glen won't be involved." So basically, you're cutting out the guy whose covers have sold the books, who has a background in animation, who can get you into any development office in animation, and you don't want to work with him. But you still want to do it as an anime series, which has never happened. So we'll see how successful you've been. He said, "Do you have a little bit of bitterness?" Actually, it's short-sighted and ugly. It's ugly, and I think the proof is in the pudding because it's never happened.
Isn't that amazing? How some of this stuff happens, behind the scenes that a lot of people don't
and then I have the
realize. They think it's all just easy and glamorous, and everything is always so.
It was their agent, and
some
then
of the stuff you got to put up with behind the scenes.
Emailing me from Europe, going, "Oh, I saw the Monster High stuff dolls in Europe." I was like, because I did development on Monster High. I was like, "Yeah, we could be doing that with Goddess Girls too." No response. It's like, you could be making a lot of money. You could have a series.
Usually that's what
international
is the trigger when you say making a lot of money would be the.
And that the whole world would know. It
would take it to new stratospheres. Yeah.
Comprehension. Obviously, these women wanted to branch out into other book series because they did.
Right.
Very, very quickly. Why wouldn't you want to branch out into other mediums?
Exactly.
And why wouldn't you want to make money off of merchandising? What year are we in?
Right.
And then to point that out to me about another project that I'd worked on, and then to say, and you could be doing that too. And again, Simon Schuster wasn't the issue.
Right. Right.
They only owned the print.
They just
to it. They didn't own the likenesses so it wasn't them.
No.
Anyway, we all have stories like that. That's one of mine.
That's one of them. But the work continues like this. Look at this. Audrey McDonald. That's the Lady Day holiday ornament. That's beautiful, huh?
That one turned out well. That was one of the ornaments. That was the preliminary design.
That's really cool. It's really cool.
It is really wonderful to be able to observe these people performing their iconic roles and try to get the spirit of
Look at this one here. Yeah.
That was popular.
I could see that. Yeah. I could see that really with all of it. These are cool too. The Leslie pillow talk. Leslie Nielsen.
I had done Leslie Jordan. I think you said Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, what did I say?
Leslie Nielsen, I think you said.
Oh, yeah. Actually, it kind of does look a little bit like him.
It does. They do have white hair.
Yeah.
Similar noses, too.
Exactly. There was a whole series with this, huh?
There were two. Leslie had, through friends, again, through social media, and mutual friends who follow, who know both of us. And I had done just a different image than these for Leslie's birthday. and posted it on social media, and their friends showed him, and he loved it, and then he hired
cool.
me to do 2 images that he could sell on T-shirts.
Isn't that
So,
cool?
same with Billy Porter. Billy Porter saw the image I did of him, and then he commissioned
Said, hey,
he
I'd like you
used
to.
my fans for and the video that he released last year, and so that's always nice when that. Like Cheyenne Jackson hired me to do he's hired me a few times to do cast. That was a stage show that was in out of town tryouts. I suppose that's what I use it.
Yeah.
But the very successful producer, who's won Jim. Oh my God, I'm so bad with names. Anyway, he's won a whole bunch of Emmys, but he was producing this, and so the show was about the back scenes drama that went on.
Saturday Night Live. SNL, yeah.
There was much.
Yeah, John Belushi. You see everybody there. Jane Curtin and Garrett Morris.
And it's great to do because
Gilda Radner.
Okay, I'm gonna totally date myself here. So here
Lorraine Newman. Yeah.
This show premiered its first episode on my 10th birthday. Not that I was watching it at 10, but I did watch it when I was like 12 or 13. So
your parents let you back then?
1975.
I was gonna say, the parents let you watch it? Or you snuck out of the bedroom?
I wasn't allowed to watch
any of these things.
Three's Company when it first came on.
Three's Company.
This show, I wasn't allowed to go see any movies that were
beyond the Disney movies. This is great work here. I mean, you've captured all of them from the original Saturday Night Live cast.
You know what the most work was, though? Was the set. And the set wasn't even something that that the client talked to me about doing at the outset. I just sort of working on this. I said, well, I think we really need that set.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, Glenn, what did you promise? That was at least a week of work.
That was when they were the not ready for primetime players. Yeah.
But I had to watch all the episodes and take screen snaps of the set. And
incredible.
And it was lit differently in different episodes because they were evolving. And just a little beat.
It's really beautifully done.
There.
Yeah. Incredible.
You
mentioned Crawford earlier too.
That one I did at the beginning of the pandemic when everyone had to wash their hands and wear a mask. Yeah.
But didn't she have a mask on her anyway, even when there was
it was
pandemic?
That was the joke. And
it was like...
And it was also, I think, Joan's birthday is...
that's really a cool shot.
Or something like that. So it was a way to kind of tie in those things and make a joke. And
Jerry Stiller. Hey.
Yeah.
That looks just like him. I mean, it's really incredible. The detail. And there, we were looking.
Olivia and her tuchus.
On the roller skates.
Yeah.
On the roller skates.
And my parents deserve some sort of medal for having to listen to that soundtrack.
Over and over.
And over.
You can do magic. Right. Let's see. Here's another one here. Oh, yes. You talked about Mary Tyler Moore and company.
Yeah. That was, again, this is for a book. This is for a book about TV comedies that changed. It changed the face of television.
Absolutely.
And, getting to draw things that I had loved growing up.
That has to be incredible.
It is. And then people seeing it later and feeling that I had done a good job and that it brings up those memories. It's interesting. I've noticed that what people respond to is not based necessarily on my ability to capture it. It's based on their fond memories of it. It's based on what they're bringing to the table. So the reason that Golden Girls is so popular is because that show is beloved by generations of people.
Right.
The same with I Love Lucy or Bewitched or
Jeannie.
It's what they're bringing to it. No, Jeannie's actually not a very popular caricature, I have to tell you.
Really?
I don't
wonder why. Has it been overdone?
Bewitched is, and Dora is. Golden Girls there's just certain things that for some reason people want to buy prints of. They really love it. That it again, I spoke earlier about Seinfeld, #1 show in its time. MASH, biggest audience ever for a final episode. X-Files. Now, no one's interested. No one wants to buy a print of it. No one's interested. They don't care. Can't even give it away. It's just what still has resonance for people. And sometimes it's childhood memories, or sometimes it's what's been re-alivened, like with the Lucy and Desi movie that came out.
You find that it's more comedic than it is dramatic that people tend to go to for those fond memories, feeling good, innocent, simple stuff?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, for television, it's women. Any series that has female leads, whether it be Bewitched, I Love Lucy, Genie, Golden Girls.
Family. Yeah.
Well, no, female leads.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Dynasty, like Alexis and those characters. That's TV. It's been said before.
Marlo Thomas, that girl?
No one knows it now.
Not anymore. Yeah.
No one knows it now. We know it. No one knows it. I've drawn her. No one knows that show. And you know why? Because it doesn't stay, it's not in syndication enough. Like, Maude, no one knows Maude. Everyone knows Golden Girls. No one knows Maude other than our generation. Because it's not syndicated as much as All in the Family or Golden Girls or the others. So it's what, women, television is thought to be a woman's medium, like Sex and the City. That it's just somehow, and I'm generalizing hugely, but what has resonance for people, and I think particularly if they're kids, they're watching things as kids, I think female characters maybe have more resonance for them.
Sometimes the mom characters too.
Characters. Bewitched was all of our mothers. It was the mother we wanted, and that the same age as. I'm the same age as some of her kids, so she was like our mom, right? And didn't we want her to be? and so
Shirley Jones,
and I'm sure like the mother from the Jeffersons, and
Sada Thompson and Family. Yeah,
no one knows about that show.
No, they do, because it's not really
and
run.
I have to say, I know she's a very respected actress. I'm sure she's a lovely person. To me, that character, as well written as that show was, and I never watched it when it was first on at all.
No, because you were a kid. Yeah, you were teens. Yeah, it was on 10 o'clock at night on ABC or something.
Not to stay up that late.
Right.
But she, first of all, the way she dresses, it's like that wasn't contemporary. She's like, what are you dressing like it's 1961? What's with all those house dresses? Like, what's all this belted stuff? That's not 1977. What is that? So I didn't quite get her. I think Christy McNichol's, her talent. I've watched all these episodes in the past few years. I never watched.
Really amazing, huh?
Oh my God, the talent, the truth of that young actress, her ability to, every scene, regardless of whether it's whatever the emotion is, astounding.
Spot on. Yeah. Spot on. Yeah. Really talented. And then she went on to other things as well. But yeah, early when you see her in some of the early movies too, she just
in Starsky and Hutch, and
had that it factor.
Woman, and Bionic Woman. That's another one, like huge. Like we all watched Bionic Woman and Wonder Woman and Charlie's Angels, still huge.
That Rita Moreno, right? West Side Story. Legend. That is cool. Legend. Yes.
So happy that she got to produce the contemporary movie. That's a success story, to have an authentic Puerto Rican. Still popular.
Marianne or Ginger? Which? Let's see.
Take your pick.
I always went towards Marianne, I think.
Wow. You're actually a rarity. Usually it's
They always go towards Ginger.
glamour.
Yeah. Yeah. Mary Ann seemed a little bit more real.
Yeah. In a false eyelash on a desert island kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Halston. That's a great capture.
I did that right when the miniseries was airing on Netflix.
Cher.
There's an enduring popularity. Cher, not this incarnation of Cher, but the 80s, 70s, 80s.
Right.
Cher. Yeah. So she's eternally popular.
Yeah. And there you go. There's Shirley Jones. And yes, you got all the moms there. And Dora, Florence Henderson, and Mrs. Munster.
No, that's Mrs. Adams.
Oh, that's Mrs. Adams. That's right. Yeah, the Adams Family.
Tisha Adams.
Which one did you watch more? Munsters or Adams Family? If you watched either.
I think I watched both. I think Adams, though. I don't know. I mean,
these look really
good.
It
was a Munsters feature film, It's in color.
Yeah, that's right.
I only knew because they would air it like on Sundays or something. Like, I didn't even know there was a Batman TV show feature film until many years later, and it aired again on the Saturday and Sunday afternoon movies when you get to watch all those great movies from the 60s that came out that you weren't even aware of. And I was like, oh my God, there's a Batman, and all the villains are in it. And I was like, tripping.
Penguin, Burgess Meredith.
Oh my God. Great performances, just great art direction, the wit of that show.
Yeah.
And the talent that went behind it. I mean,
Cesar Romero. And
oh my God. And Julie.
Yeah, fantastic. Julie Newmar. Great.
Timing, and just to combine that sexuality and that dance with the comedy timing, and oh my God.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. That's how I learned to draw women. Julie Newmar and Linda Carter.
And Linda
I had
Carter.
a very hourglass archetype that I was working with.
You mentioned Canada, and Merlin watches from Ontario, and she says, do you draw rock bands? Like, do you do rock bands and other musicians of that ilk?
I guess about. Well, are you asking for a commission? Is that what you're asking? I mean, not bands per se. I mean, I have drawn those I've been commissioned to do for different jobs. But I'm not I've never drawn the Beatles, not because I don't love them, but because the question I ask myself now with anything I take on is, I'm getting older and time is precious. So I have to really maximize what the time I choose to spend on images. That's why I don't do personal portraits anymore, because I could be, not that I don't want to, there's many friends that I want to draw on another, but it's that time has value, and that's, I can't get that back. So these are, am I getting paid for it? And if I'm not, what kind of response is it going to get on social media? Can I sell it as a print? Can I sell the original artwork? And if there's multiple characters, for example, in a band, like, there's so many bands that I love, like just any, name a band from the 70s. I love them. But
Casey and the Sunshine Band. That's the way.
I was doing a little research recently, and I didn't know this at the time. Casey was gay.
So that's Casey and Sherman Hemsley, George Jefferson.
Hottie. But so the answer to the question is, if I was being paid properly and I felt that image would be popular enough to the broadest cross-section of my audience, then yes.
She wants you to do what? Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, I've drawn him, and I've drawn other sketches of him in other carnations. So I did him in drag in the Break Free video, but I've drawn other sketches of him performing. And again, it's like, do I have the time? And not that it wouldn't be popular, because it would. And I have
Yeah,
my
yeah.
deepest respect. Oh my God, that man was talented. Oh, the voice. You listen to him sing, and I was just like, those notes. And this was stuff that, we were all listening to this stuff, and it was just coming out of our radios, right? Like, we didn't think, what a voice.
It was either that or Sammy Davis singing the Candyman.
How do you equate Sammy Davis with Freddie Mercury?
No, the opposites. Like if you weren't listening to Freddie Mercury, then you had
Oh, well, actually, I have to
the
say
Candyman going.
Say something about Sammy Davis Jr. Of all the Rat Pack, he's my favorite voice. He's my favorite voice. I think his voice was gorgeous.
Did you ever do an image of him?
So talented. What?
Did you ever do an image of him?
I did the entire Rat Pack.
You did. Wow.
For that animated series that I was doing for MTV when I did the Blink-182, it was called Spy Group, and there was numerous caricature opportunities within the context of the storyline, because they were always going to some different location. It was a sort of, at that time, modern spin on a spy series. So there was always, fabulous people and well-known celebrities, or one Las Vegas episode they went to, there were animatronic versions of the Rat Pack. So I had to draw animatronic versions of the Rat Pack. When you're churning stuff out, like when you're doing a new episode every week, you're just like, it's like you just do it. It's like you don't put a lot.
You like that? Did you like the bang, bang, bang? Yeah.
And there's the same when I was doing a lot of print illustrations for magazines, I would get, like, for New York Times, they're like, we have an article coming out Friday or Saturday. We need it in a day. This is what it needs to be, or like New York Style section. So we have an article coming out on Sunday, and they contract you on Tuesday, and it's like, we need this. And you do it. That's freelance illustration. You just do it. And I do like it. And you get out of your head. You're just on autopilot.
Look at this one, Bacall. This is fantastic. When was this one done?
I'd cross the river for that young lady, let me tell you. Her and Rita Hayworth. The appeal of those two ladies is pretty astounding.
You ever see her interview with Dick Cavett? It's a really good one.
Oh, which one?
Yeah, actually, there were two. Yeah, there was
the one where they're a little at odds with each other.
Yes, I think that was the first one that they did, right?
No,
where there's one where it's different because
that show later around 19, when she was, I think she was doing Applause.
There was one where he's usually on the right and the guest on the left.
Yeah.
And there was one where it was reversed. He was on
the left. He had that original show
on ABC, and then he went to PBS.
Yeah. Well, I don't think. Yeah.
First it was ABC. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a nighttime show, and then he went to PBS, and they changed the slight format, and it was just one guest.
Right.
Oh, there's some interviews with her, and I read a lot about her behind the scenes, and even watched some interviews with her son.
A tough interview? Tough?
Not tough necessarily, just tough interview. Legend. Not the easiest woman and you won't hear many good stories about her. In real life. It's unfortunate. In fact, there's one YouTube interview. And again, that's all I do. I sit and I work. I watch interviews and biographies.
Observing life. Yes. Getting inspired.
And there's one woman who did her hair on it for years. And as she came to a point, she said, I'm not working with her again. She's just too difficult. She's just cruel and too difficult. I still love her. I still think she's, amazing.
Yeah.
In her own way. But it's sad.
Tough stuff. Look at the meme, Angela Lansbury.
Ornament, which turned out very well. I'm very happy with that one.
That is really, really cool. Somebody got a Madonna tattoo based on one of your illustrations, huh?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
The ones that are good are really nice to see, and the ones that are bad are like torture. That was really bad.
Ah, look at this.
That was the one that Cheyenne commissioned as a gift for the entire cast.
That is so cool.
So it was very kind of him, and that was cool to do. Yeah, it was a lot of work. A lot of work. Again,
how long did that take?
Oof.
This was not
Too long. He was very patient.
Yeah.
I had to research the entire set. So it's not just doing each personality. And then you have to think, well, where is it going to be used, right? So if it's going to the actual people, like, okay, I have to be really nice. I don't make anyone look bad, but you have to put extra, if they're going to, be looking at themselves, you have to think about what the ultimate end is for the job. And then drawing all those cats. The cats were, that's a certain amount of work too. Getting that little carrot cake in the thing there, that was work. Those details, that's what it's about.
It's all about the details. Exactly. Yeah, it's extraordinary. You're a master of your craft, and that's why people love your work and have for such a long time. It's you're doing, you're living your bliss. Even a Prince tattoo, huh?
That one, that's a good tattoo, man.
Yeah.
Good one. They really
they nailed it.
Skin color comes through on his skin color, and the use of just the very limited color palette. That's a really good tattoo.
Now, how do they do that? Do they have to get your approval first before they can do that?
No, again, some people have asked me, which I appreciate, but no. And if you want to have that on your body for the rest of your life, I'm honored.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just don't be making them on, I'm not
mass produce them.
I'm not cool about tattoo artists taking someone comes in for a commission and then they do it repeatedly on other people. Because I feel like they should be paying me something.
Yeah. Oh, look at this
one. That was a band illustration. It's not a well-known band, but that was, they were on tour. I was really happy with the illustration because I had to do a background that they wanted something that was apocalyptic and Hollywood. And of course, it's kind of fun for me to create Hollywood in apocalypse, because sometimes I feel like, not that it isn't getting close to that now.
Yeah, basically.
They closed down six in this city alone, the 6 major Starbucks stores.
Oh, yes, I heard that because of crime or something.
Because were being employees were being attacked.
You know what else? They just it's
what?
unbelievable. They closed in California, I don't think because of that type of situation, just the economy and everything. All the Geico locations have closed.
Geico.
Now Geico is closed in California.
I don't even have a car. I live in California. I don't even have a car, so I don't care. I'm sure
that Gecko is going to be out of business soon.
Oh,
I
hope they're putting together some sort of fund for the Gecko, the 3D animated Gecko. Where's he going to go now?
Well, exactly. What the? Here we go. This is cool.
It was interesting. It's funny because I had one guy who had bought a lot of my original work begging me to do a commission of this for a long time. Then I finally did it. He didn't want it. Like, you wanted me to do that.
And then didn't want it after?
No. He showed no interest.
I hope you got the money first.
No. Because he didn't commission me. I ended up just doing it on the spur of the moment.
Oh, look at that. That's fantastic. Crazy. On the mugs, too. There's Friends. The Friends cast.
Done the same year that I did the X-Files, 95. You can see my style is a little more loose.
Yeah.
A little more brushy. And I did 4 caricatures for promotion of what were the most popular series at that time. And it was Friends, Seinfeld, X-Files, and Lois and Clark. And yeah.
That's cool.
You used to get work, so you would have an agent, I mean, if you're lucky enough to, and then they'd have to literally by hand send out mailers to art directors for magazines and books, and and all sorts of things. I had a huge mailing list.
It's all manually done.
All manually done. I used to deliver I started working in illustration before there was even fax machines. So I had to hand deliver or have it picked up by courier, my rough sketches to get approved.
Wow.
When I started. And then fax machines came in. And so I would fax the roughs, but then I'd have to hand deliver the ones I was doing for Condé Nast in England were being couriered overseas by FedEx, which you're just praying it didn't get lost, just praying it arrives.
Were they insured? Did you have to get them insured and all that?
Yeah, I mean, they pay for it, but still, if it's lost, you're done. You have to do it again.
You're done.
So it's just terrifying.
That's incredible, right? You just, has that ever happened? Did anything ever get lost? It did.
It was sort of my fault. I was delivering it to the apartment building of the art director because it was closer than going to the office, and there was no doorman on site. It's gonna sound lame. So there was like a sort of a booth in the foyer, a beautiful building in Toronto. It was old, with all marble and everything like that. And on the bottom floor is all retail and even a subway stop. And then above that are all apartments. And so if I would go there in the daytime to drop off work, there would be a doorman there, but at night he wasn't there. But the booth, the sort of the partition, only went so high. So I tossed the artwork over the partition, and it looked like it landed in there. But I guess
it looked like I saw a shadow.
I had to do it.
Oh,
you learn a lot when you're starting out in your career. You learn a lot, and that's the thing about photographers and illustrators and animators or people who work in animation or any sort of craft, or stylists in fashion. Everything's so immediate now, and I'm gonna sound like an old person, but these kids come out of school now and they want a really good salary. I used to do crap for free. I would do stuff for free just to get my foot in the door,
just to get connected and be seen, right?
And then the same with photo assistants, the same as assistant stylists, makeup artists. Everyone of my generation and previous generations, whatever your craft was, you started out
get in the door,
anything you could get, and you would do stuff for free to prove your ability, and you'd learn and you'd learn and you'd learn, and it would weed out the people who had the legs and the talent, the stamina, and the brains to keep working,
right?
Rise to where they wanted to be, but I'm saying, these kids come out and they're like, I should be paid this because I just came out of college, and it's like, no, you shouldn't.
And you're correct, they do it with vocal fry.
Oh yeah,
with that at the end of the sentence,
and I will be respected. It's like,
respected.
I got pissed on so much. Have you ever seen what a photo assistant went through? Being treated like dogs. There's
sometimes you had to make the coffee too.
Make the coffee, clean the studio, because I worked in art director's photography for a while too when I was in my 20s. And the way photo assistants got treated, and they were not working for, they were working for free. And they would be treated like dogs. Literally all the worst grunt job. Go pick this up, go get that, clean the floor, clean the bathroom, clear the set afterwards, take down all the lights, make the coffee, and if they didn't last.
You were
and
out the door.
Yeah. Of my generation knows that's what, just like actors, you'll do anything for free. I mean, now they're doing YouTube stuff for free, and I guess social media stuff to get themselves seen, and that's working out for some people. But I swear, you don't even know about being professional, so stop asking for a high salary.
Right. Yeah. It's completely changed.
I had a lot of talent. I had a lot of drive. I had a lot of energy, but I had to learn. I had stuff to learn about being professional. I'm not saying I was 100% professional. If I can just share one story with you, I'm so lucky. I'm really so lucky. I had done for free there was a repertory cinemas. Remember those? They used to exist where you go see before TCM. There was an old movie theater. They show old
Right.
or foreign movies or whatever stuff you couldn't see in big theaters. And there was one in Toronto that showed nothing but old black and white, old golden age movies, silent movies. And I was obsessed with all that stuff. So I volunteered to do for the Film Noir series and also Catherine Hepburn Film Festival. I volunteered to do hand-painted posters for their poster window thing outside the theater. The lockbox, that's the glass post. Hand-painted with the lettering on them for all of the movies that were being shown. Okay, that's old school, which I did, and they were up. And as art director from a magazine went to see those film festivals or one of those movies. And he saw my illustration and he talked to the owner of the theater and got my name and number and contacted me to offer me my first illustration job. First, because I never thought I would illustrate for magazines. I thought I would be doing comic books or animation or fashion, maybe, I don't know. So he offers me a full page illustration, my first job.
Wow.
I was such an arrogant little pisher that I was going through my idealistic phase. Like, I would not work in animation because the only game in town at that time was Care Bears. I was like, I'm not working Care Bears. That's beneath me, and I'm not doing that. And so he came to me offering me this full page illustration, and the magazine was something that went for free, like New York's Avenue magazine, which I subsequently ended up working for a lot when I was in New York. For society, people were rich, basically, who. So this magazine was called Good Life. So it was not something you get on the newsstands. It went out to people, I think, based on zip code or based on higher income or whatever. I told him.
Upper West Side, places like that. Yeah.
It was Toronto, so it was like Rosedale.
It's like your version of Upper West Side, right? Yeah.
Oh my God. I told him, I said, I think your magazine is pretentious and materialistic, and I have no interest in illustrating for it. And he stuck by me.
He said, I love that. This guy's got spunk.
Oh my, what an arrogant little pisher I was. I mean, that's the thing. When I was working on, I did Beetlejuice development from the very outset. I had already done Babar. And then they were always developing new projects at that Nelvana Studios, which is the same studio that did Care Bears, which I didn't want to work on, but I came on for Babar because I guess that met my criterion. And then I had seen the movie Beetlejuice because it had just come out, and I loved it. And I thought the comedy was brilliant. And of course, as a Torontonian, as a Canadian, I had been weaned on Catherine O'Hara, and I was obsessed with her and SCTV. So I heard that they were going to be in competition with other studios. They were going to do a pitch to get the series, the animated series. We're going to adapt it for animation. And of course, also being a huge silent movie fan, I knew about German Expressionism, whether Dr. Caligari or Nosferatu, or probably no one knows these things besides me. But anyway,
I knew Google it later.
Yeah, I knew all that stuff. Incredible film language, the German cinema, the silent eras, Metropolis and all this, just unsurpassed. So I went into the producer's office and said, I can do that. I know I can do this. I know this. And I grabbed a piece of paper and I said, this is what you want. And I showed it to him. And it was just wonky expressionism. It was a little bit of Warner Brothers, a little bit of Flintstones, and German Expressionism. I said, this is what you want. He said, yes, it is. So me and this really experienced, really talented other artists at the studio started developing Beetlejuice, what the take would be that Nelvana was pitching. And so that stuff was going over to Tim Burton while he was working on Batman, because he was the one who was going to have to say about which studio did it. And then when it got greenlit, because I had been doing character design and doing color pieces and overseeing, interacting with other people, I was offered the job as art director. Now at that point, my illustration career was taking off. I was also go-go dancing, and I was also art directing live photography. So I had all these irons in the fire elsewhere, and I didn't want to sort of just make all my time doing full-time work on the series. So I turned that down. And, you know, it's just the decisions you make when you're young, and I didn't have a shortage of work. And again, I was really fortunate.
Yeah.
Really, there wasn't a magazine that I took my portfolio to that I didn't get work.
That's amazing. Yeah. So the work really speaks for itself.
Right time and a lot of people who gave, and I really got stretched stylistically. That one initial art director who I had originally turned down gave me at least one assignment per issue, if not more. And he goes, look, do this one in this style, and then do this one in this style, so it doesn't look like it's the same artist doing it. So they challenged me. They not only did I learn about being professional, but they challenged me to really stretch myself. But I mean, I was also showing work that was like fashion and cartoon and caricature. So I had that, you know, that breadth, and it was exciting. It was exciting to do something different. Cool. Now people just want to see the same. They don't have an imagination beyond what they see.
It's the same stuff over and over and milk it till the end.
Yeah, but I'm so
this is cool. Designing women.
Yep. Yeah, just another. There were a number of these that were for book covers about the series. That's what the Golden Girls was for. That's what this one was for. It was Will and Grace and Wonder Woman. And
this is cool.
So there's a pretty memory. Yes, there he is.
There you go. You see George Michael in there, and Prince, and
these are popular. You know, it's interesting who is not that. I'm not going to even say it. Dolly's eternally popular.
Dolly Parton, yes.
Eternally popular with a wide cross section of people. Yeah, it's interesting who.
See, now everybody wants to know who isn't as much.
Well, there's 3 images, and she's right in the middle.
Ah, yes, yeah. And
that's only happened out over the past 2 years. It was previously extremely popular.
Kind of interesting.
4 images actually right in the middle. Yeah, I think it has something to do with social media. That's all I'm going to say.
It can make or break. It can make or break. Crazy stuff.
One has to take responsibility for what one
for what you're doing and saying.
Well, what visuals one is putting out there. Yeah. So whatever.
Yay! Look at that one.
My love for Janet is,
Janet Jackson. Yeah.
And did you watch that docu-series on her?
Yes. And then of course Wayne Scott Lucas, who's dressed her.
Yeah, I heard the stories about that experience when
Super
I started
Bowl and
years ago, and I mean, it was very brave of her to do that series and open up.
Remember, she was Penny on Good Times.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember on Fame. I remember I was there, man. I was there. Yeah.
Now look at all this, huh? This is and you got everybody in there. You even got Ann B. Davis in there. Alice.
I love Ann B. Davis.
And all the Bradys and the Squares. This is really cool. Now, what people are looking at for their own information here, they're probably saying, "Oh, gee, these are great, but I'd never be able to get any of these." These things are available, right? They're
all available as prints. Some fall out of favor, so I don't print them as often. I mean, they're all capable of being printed. I don't always have all of them in stock, but within 2 or 3 weeks, I can have new ones printed. I don't print them myself. They're all hand signed. They're all 8x10, and because that's a format that's very easily.
That's an interesting question. Now she's watching from Australia. Good day, Veronica. One of our
Hey, I've done jobs for Australia. I've done Australian GQ. Over in this day and age, knowing what you know now, then what do you mean? What would I include
from the earliest portfolios?
How different would? Well, I mean, I don't show work I did as a child, but I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, I do try to show what's contemporary. I don't keep much from, I mean, my style has changed, so there's really not much I'm showing that I showed in 1988. I'm not showing the same imagery because my style is different. And some of those things aren't known, and also I've changed. My perspective on certain things has changed. There's certain things I'm not interested in drawing anymore. I'm missing all these questions. My goodness, why am I missing all this? I feel badly. I feel like I should be asked, how would a visual artist? These days it's all about social media. Really, it's all about social media, and I feel really, really badly for the young talent I see coming up, because there's some of them are so talented, and
it's oversaturated. Is that what it is? Too many?
The democratization of work. So you have stuff that's really, really good, and you have these people who are like, my generation or whatever.
Yeah.
And they have had a long history.
Yeah.
Who are not getting the same. It all comes down to likes and attention. It's what you want to do.
All of social media is that way. Yes. Even YouTube is that way. You could have people that have done things for years that are experts, and then those that just pop up and it's like, but now they've deemed themselves experts.
I mean, I work organically. I draw by hand, which I showed the originals of. So, this was a piece that I did, the Lucy and Dizzy. This is the black and white that, golly, which way am I doing this? There you go. I can't see real clear because it's gonna hit the light. And so that's the hand, that's drawn by hand in pencil. And then I scan that in and clean it up digitally. And then I do the color digitally in Photoshop. So I have a whole bunch of layers, like multitudes of layers. So if I want to change the makeup or the shading without affecting the hair, they're all on separate layers. And it gives me a huge variance of what I can do with a singular image. For example, like with the Golden Girls, I created all those 4 single women individually. Oh, thank you so much, Kathleen. And then I'm able to either composite them together or use them separately, or change the backgrounds, or drop them into somewhere else, or the digital media has allowed me, or digital technique has expanded the range. Because when I used to color by hand, do everything by hand, once you were done with the piece, that was it. That's all you could do with it. Right. And then it would have to be sent to the client, and then scanned in, and printed in dot screen, which is not very clear. And I mean, I have a lot of what are called tear sheets from magazines and jobs I've done all through the years.
Yeah.
But it's all printed in dot screen, so it's not high resolution. It's only what I've done digitally that has a real clear, that can be blown up or reduced down or changed or whatever. So it allows a lot more freedom. Gotta love Johnny.
I tell you, it's really incredible. And this is just, did you ever count up how many you have?
And what I really need to do
is like,
and I don't have the time to do this. It was one thing I had wanted, if the money for a full-time assistant, this would be one thing I'd have him working, or him or her, sorry, or them. It would be to catalog.
Oh, yeah.
How many times I've drawn them, what year I drew them, what stage at which that drawing is in. Did I do it in full color? Is it just a sketch? Is it so that I can look through and go, okay, I drew that person that year, that year, that year.
Here's Dolly.
Andrew, yeah. So, yeah, so no, I have thousands. I mean, just what you've shown already is
just scratching the surface.
The
That's a great one of Dolly Parton. Yeah, that's a really great one.
So, I mean, in terms of getting work now as an artist, you have to be really clear about what you want to do. Really clear, and everything is kind of the market in terms of what the work you're trying to get. Like that, what I mentioned before about being challenged to go in different directions, that doesn't exist anymore. You have to pick one style, one subject matter, put it on the social media, and just hit it and 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 hit it until you find your audience. And more than likely, what you're going to get commissioned to do is not necessarily going to be commercial work. It's going to be work for, people and private clients. And so getting the commercial work, there are still agents, but the competition is more, and the avenues for where work is going to appear are less. So that's what you're dealing with now, and that's why I'm working harder than I ever worked in my entire life, consistently.
Is it do you ever get exhausted by it?
Every day. Yeah. I'm exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how hard it was to set up this meeting.
That's right. Yes.
And what I'll be doing after this meeting, I mean, it's already, the sun is setting here, and
you're going to be doing. You got work that you're going to. You do.
And
how many hours a day do you put into your craft?
Well, just the drawing itself, or everything, because it's not just a drawing anymore. I used to love the way it used to be, because my agent would get the work, I'd get contacted by the client, they'd contact me. This is what we need. This is when we need it. I had no interaction with anyone else, nothing distracting me. Now, I have to post something on social media every day. It has to be topical. It preferably should be new, but I don't necessarily have, so it has to be topical, like someone's birthday that I've already drawn, or something that's can be written, or if someone dies and I already drew them. So then it's like, that's usable. And then I have to return messages, and I have to return emails. And I spend half my day, most of my day, doing managerial things, doing social media things, but that's how I make my money. So if somebody says, oh, I love that image, I want to buy a print, well, I have to do that sale right away. So this is how you pay for it, this is how you get it. Send me, blah, 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 blah. I have to stay on that. I have no one else taking care of that for me.
Yeah, it's all.
And then I still have to sit down and draw. And then people wonder why, well, you don't have a social life. Well, why don't you go out? Why don't you take a break? Because I have to pay rent. It's just, that's the way it is.
It's a hustle.
It's more of a hustle now than it used to be.
All of it is. All of these things are. Absolutely. I've seen it. Yeah. It really is. I mean, you do something for a long time, and now all of a sudden you're
staying focused, because my attention is getting diversified. So
that's a good word for, distracted, pulled away, right? Yeah.
I used to be able to just sit there and work undisturbed, for days if need be.
Now
forget
emails, texts.
And no one has any patience if you don't return a message right away. If you don't,
you could be at a funeral and they want the answer still. I'm saying, I'm at a funeral. Give me an hour.
Right? Or in a car. People are doing business pretty much 24/7. I sleep with my phone beside me. I mean, it's off, but if I wake up and I look at the time, inevitably I'm going to be returning messages, or
you'll have messages waiting for you somebody gave you at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Hey, you there?
That's when I go to sleep.
I'm in my REM sleep at that point, please.
It's
Monica in Australia actually popped back up and says, do you still love your job?
I love creating. I love that people like my work.
And is it a job, or is it
well,
some people say,
not entirely. No. no. I mean, if I really wanted safety, even though those jobs are dwindling, I'd go get a full-time job at a studio. And I wouldn't have to worry about health insurance. I wouldn't have to worry about what my income variance would be, and I wouldn't. But you know, I'd be working as I have many times. In fact, prior to this, I just had a meeting about a development on an animation job. Well, I won't be in studio, but you're under the direction of a lot of people. They're dictating what you do, and
their vision and their right.
They may not even have a vision. They don't even have a common language with which to speak. But they're the ones in management, and they're the ones you're going to have to kowtow to. And
Glen no like that.
Remember I told you I was arrogant?
And they're done that, Glen.
When I was working on Babar, it was a Canadian, French, US production. So there were all these cooks, all these producers. So there's the American network, the Canadian network, the original creator of the series, and the French network. And everyone had their say in development about what the characters were going to look like, what the tone of the show was going to be in. So I come on as the character designer, which was a great opportunity for a kid. And I didn't mind making changes. I really did. I mean, it was fine. That's the nature of the business. But one day I got really upset because I was getting contradictory advice. I was getting one producer from one place telling me to do it this way. And then and then I did. And then another producer say, no, change it back the other way.
I've had that. I've lived that world too.
And this 24-year-old, I said, I'm going home. And when you make up your mind, you let me know. It was pretty ballsy. It was pretty ballsy. And when I worked on Daria, I hated it so much. I needed that money, and I walked off. Not because the crew was wonderful and the art director was a dream. There was so much talent there, but the woman running the show was condescending and rude.
Yeah.
And I went into a meeting with her, and I already had more animation experience than she had. I'd already done many series. And the art director invited me in this whole roundtable meeting. And I didn't say anything. Like, they were all talking, and the creator was talking. This was getting the direction of the series and still character development and stuff. And so the one thing came up, and I whispered to the art director, she goes, well, just say it out loud. So I did. I just said, hi, I'm Glen Hanson. I'm the character designer. And no, I didn't even say my name. I just volunteered my opinion about character design, which is what I was hired to do. Politely, pleasantly, and which was met with stony silence around the table. And then after that meeting, the creator of the show, who had no experience in animation at all, not a visual person, nothing, said to the actress, she goes, who was that? She goes, that's Glen Hanson, the character designer. She goes, I don't ever want him in a meeting again, and I don't ever want to hear what he has to say. So every day I would go into work.
What a baby. What an infant.
I was hired to do this job.
Yeah.
So
some people just.
And then every day we go into work and listen to all my friends on the rest of the crew talk about how much they hated being there. They hated it. Because they'd all worked in animation. They were really talented, experienced people, and how much they hated it. I was like, you know what? Life's too short. I can't.
In that environment, toxic.
Yeah.
No, I'm not into that toxic stuff.
Creative people who are all talented and found great joy working on other projects later. I think,
a lot of creative people oftentimes are taken advantage of. Yeah. They're super creative and they're taken advantage of. Yeah.
Oh, did you just hear about this thing about Batgirl?
No.
Oh, heartbreaking. So actors and crew people, talent behind the scenes, from directors on down through everyone involved on any kind of live action product. particularly one like that was so really visual and special effects. And that project has been in the been working on for 2 years. There was some problems with COVID and that shut it down. And $90 million spent on it. It was supposed to premiere on HBO Max. A new regime came in at Warner Brothers. They said, you know what? We've spent too much money. We would have to put another $50 million in to finish it. We'd have to put another $30 million in to advertise it. If we're going to release it, we're not going to release it on HBO Max. We want to put it in theaters. It would cost too much. And they shut it all down. That means the lead who was going to get her big opportunity of franchise, I believe, Michael Keaton came back to do Batman.
Michael Keaton.
He came back to do Batman in a guest role on a new feature about Batgirl. Michael Keaton, who had washed his hands of that franchise in 1992.
It was done, right?
Came back. How many seats would that have filled in the theater?
Yeah, that would have been. And the theaters could really use a boost about now. And
Warner Brothers decided on Tuesday, they're trashing it. They're not releasing it on HBO. They're not releasing it in theaters. It's a tax write-off. After it's been in production.
And all those people have their heart and soul in it.
All
too.
of those people, the people who would get
emotion,
the people whose careers would be boosted by that, the people who put their hard work and their time and their talent in that for months or years. The director. This makes or breaks a career. I mean, just the coldness of that. That's the industry.
No more craft services.
They're suffering too.
Even that's gone.
I mean, that's the industry. These are the heartache. I mean, how many theater people do you know?
Oh, a lot of them
who have
their entire world has stopped.
Well, who have gone all the way to Broadway in previews.
Mm-hmm. And then
bad reviews, shut it down within a week.
Within a week, or an investor pulls out, pulls out, or
they get all the way to previews.
That's talk the town, and then
years of development. I went to see
it's like television shows too. They used to give television shows more time to The Odd Couple. When The Odd Couple first came on with Jack Klugman and Tony Randall, it was not a hit. The Dick Van Dyke Show in the very first.
No, I know. Emery
was not a hit.
Seinfeld.
All these things were not hits. They allowed them to breathe. Maybe they moved the time period around, but they would work with it. Now today,
how many pilots get shot that never see the light of day?
They don't realize.
That series I did one season of was $3 million, which was very low
for a whole series.
The animated series out of MTV Animation. They did about 4 series, probably all of which were in that range. None of which they supported. They didn't advertise. They changed our time slot. They didn't support it, and then they didn't pick it up for a second season. And that's the industry. I was in development with
a lot of ulcer medicine.
What?
A lot of ulcer medicine.
It's just that it's the nature of what we do, and it particularly animation or entertainment, not so much illustration. That's why I kind of been sticking with illustration, because I don't have to deal with that crap.
Right.
No one's gonna. It's like I'm doing it. It's mine.
Your thing.
I can sell it. Maybe I won't make as much money. It's mine. I control it. No one's dictating to me what I'm going to do. Thank God there's an audience out there. Thank God I can make a living. But I don't. Life's too short. It's like I can't put my heart into things that. It's like some suit comes along, and goes, no, not going to happen.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you for these comments.
Maureen says, well, I hope you still love your job. You're mega talented and your work needs to continue to be shared. The world is lucky to have you.
That's really incredibly sweet.
You know who's here also, who always pops in towards the latter part, says hello. Mr. George Burns is with us. Yeah. Now, did you ever do him?
No, and I've never drawn him either.
I knew this. I set it up and you grabbed it. He's got a cigar. He's always here every night with his red pocket square. My aunt collected dolls, and
that's a really good.
This was it's supposed to be actually not out. It's supposed to be wrapped and boxed. And
did he have kids?
Did he have kids?
They
They had an adopted son.
Okay.
He's in some of the episodes too of George Burns.
Who owns the rights to his likeness? Because anytime they do like dolls or maquettes, they get
exactly. Yeah, this was the Legends collection, and my aunt got it, and it got passed down to me. So he pops in towards the latter part. He said,
"What year is that from?"
I believe this was when he turned 99, or did he make it to 100? I thought he made it to 100, didn't he?
Someone needs to take that doll and do it. Get rich little to keep him going. Just
yes.
in a chair.
I tell you, huh?
The audio off screen, and you're good.
He said you knocked it out of the park, kiddo. He enjoyed the conversation immensely. He said,
I digress wildly, and thank you everyone for tolerating.
Gilligan loved it too. This came from Bob Denver's wife, actually, Dreama Denver. She was a guest twice on our series, and she said, "Jim, you're missing from the set here. The I, Jimmy Genie bottle is right there."
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
you're missing the Gilligan. So she sent me the Gilligan.
Hypnotizing light is in the background. That while you were doing the intro, I was listening to my career being described in a very lovely, lovely way. And being mesmerized by that hypnotizing colored light in the background.
It's all about color, right?
Oh, yeah.
What's your favorite color?
Probably it's this color of blue.
The lighter, yeah.
Almost
that
like
is nice.
Water,
it's like ocean, yeah.
No, ocean blue is it's like tropical.
Like if you're in Bermuda or something, right?
Tropical blue.
Very.
That would be my favorite. I like tertiary. I like secondary and tertiary colors more than primaries. I'm not a big primary color guy. There you go.
Just saying tertiary, just saying the word. I mean, you got to get a medal. I mean, who walks around saying tertiary? I thought you said you wanted me to come up with the big words. You did.
My father was a school teacher, so again, there was a lot of vocabulary, and we had to I knew what the word idiosyncrasy meant.
I love that word. I use that a lot. That's very apropos.
Teachers couldn't believe I knew what that word was. Like, well, my parents use it.
Plethora. Don't you like plethora?
Tangential. I know that word because that's a visual thing. So.
Yes. Yeah.
As is tertiary.
What are some of the continued blessings and joys in your life that keep you, as through everything we've been talking about, keep you forging forward, staying in the industry, doing what you love doing, and sharing it with the world? What are some of the things that continue to inspire you, Glenn?
Oh, that inspire me? That's an easy answer. Talent or creativity, other creativity, music, other artists doing their thing, and performances of really talented actors are probably turn me on more than anything. That and music. If I see a performance and I go, that's true. Oh, yes. Yes, I do, Veronica. Yes, I do. If I don't enjoy it, if I can't find something to enjoy about it, I'm not going to do it. Sometimes I have to find something to enjoy about it.
Is that's something that has taken time and wisdom and experience and years put in to come to a place where you can sort of call the shots? It's got to mean something to you. It's got to be something that you really are going to enjoy. And
when I hit 40, it was like, okay, you've coasted through the past, 16 years, very successfully, and you haven't really had a plan, and you've never thought about time, and you're still just as physically healthy as you were at 25, but you better start thinking about time. And I still don't really have a plan. I mean, I have plans I'd like to do, but
Did the pandemic do anything? This time of great pause and reflection that we've all had. A lot of people are
It
reassessing.
ruined a lot of things in my life. It helped and it ruined.
Yeah, yeah.
Really, it's
I could
still,
list a couple of things that it altered that were like, what?
yeah, it's still ruining my life. It's still, there are certain, and it's not creatively. There are practical aspects to my life, personal aspects to my life that I'm still trying to recover from. There's sort of secondary, really secondary things, but they've had a very profound impact on practical matters and the day-to-day aspects of my life. Yeah, the fallout, which is still not over. In one respect, it was good because, again, I did sort of have a captive social media audience. People weren't as distracted by the things you ordinarily would have been doing. But no, I don't know if you want me to get. There were personal things. Yeah.
Things that we deal with in life, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and those are the things.
Some of it heavier than others.
Yeah, my creative fire is renewed daily.
Mm-hmm.
Inspiration happens momentarily, and I have to stop myself sometimes because I know I'm not going to be able to follow through it.
Did the pandemic mute that at all?
You know what point muted it for me? It wasn't the pandemic. No, because in a way, my life didn't change at all. Physically, my life didn't change.
Yeah.
I had this apartment. I was still working all the time.
You stayed inside and locked the doors.
And I was able to go out. I mean, I have a balcony here, so I could go lay in the sun if I wanted to do that. And, so I was very, very, very lucky. When I think of the people who were cramped up in tiny little apartments with no access to go outside.
Couldn't go out and everything closed. And
breaks my heart. And I know how lucky I am. But it wasn't the pandemic, and it was the onslaught of information that came. It was being bombarded on an emotional level.
Overwhelming, yes.
And it wasn't just COVID. It was
everything.
The George Floyd and
everything happening.
And of course, I was here in LA, so the riots and everything that happened after that, and then. I don't know who's watching this, so if you have a different opinion, that's fine with me.
Political
the anti-vaxxers and the people who, it was like the veneer got pulled off of our society, and the ugliest nature of the way people would treat each other
came out, right?
Mm-hmm. And it just wasn't. It was like all at once. First of all, it's COVID, so there's my fit in person. Nothing replaces that. I mean, this is great what we're doing here.
Yeah.
But I'd rather be on the couch with Ed McMahon sitting with me and you sitting on the other side, and Johnny in the band, or Doc in the band over there. But it was those things unsurpassed. It was those things that began to weigh on me, and then I saw a physical manifestation of that emotional stress. And something I had never experienced before in my life.
You take a lot in. You feel a lot.
A lot. And
so
I'm aware.
I get it. So do I. Yeah, I get it.
And I'll be honest, and I've only told my closest friends.
A lot of creative people, they feel. Feeling is a huge thing. Feeling everything. And feeling the weight of other people's tragedies and burdens and struggles. And
hearing that, for example,
you can't solve it.
Brought out more home abuse situations, and thinking about women.
Plus all the pushing and shoving in the stores, and the yelling, and the fighting, and the Karens, and the road rage, and the what the hell?
That stuff is.
Knock it off, everybody! God,
it's the deeper stuff.
That's the periphery. That's the stuff that annoys you.
I deal with
a loaf of bread, and somebody pushes you.
and people who are rude in the grocery. It's the deeper stuff. It's the mindset of some people, and the selfishness of some people, and the cruelty of some
That
people,
we've seen a lot more of, yes.
and the anti-intellectualism of some people,
Yes.
and the Orwellian nature of things that really, it was like all of this at once, and it was coming at you day after day after day after
Like the world
day.
is coming apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything you knew was disappearing and everything. Right.
And you thought that, oh, we've come to this point now. We as a human race, we've come to here where we've kind of moved beyond certain things, and we're we're more evolved.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
We went back to animalistic ways. Yeah.
Mm-mm. Well,
yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, definitely in terms of how people treated each other. That wore on me. So that still,
it's still, because it's still happening in
solid.
different ways.
I mean, and then getting through 2020, and then the insurrection on January 6th. I mean, just seeing that, and the manner of behavior towards people, and the barbarism of that, and the ugliness of it.
And now there's monkeypox. Oh my God. Jeez.
Be careful. Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Monkeypox.
It's like, oh, now we're socializing again, and
now there's a monkeypox.
And when I first heard that term, and I first read about it, I was like, oh,
it was goofy, wasn't it? Monkeypox. Come on.
And then I read some articles about what some people in New York went through physically, who contracted it, and the pain.
It's a tough thing. It's not just a rash. It's a tough thing. Yeah. From what they're saying. Yeah.
That's like, okay, Glenn, you don't want that. You don't want that. And that's serious. It's not something that, because quite frankly, as a shut-in illustrator, I didn't really feel terribly vulnerable that I was going to, I got vaccinated, but I didn't feel vulnerable about COVID. It's like, I don't have interaction with anyone, so how am I going to get it? But, these are all things to
think about,
considered, but that do weigh on you, and it's become we probably shouldn't be leading the conversation in this direction, but it's become a very, very exhausting world.
Absolutely. You're taking words right out of my mouth. I say this every single day.
Yeah. It's exhausting.
Irritating, annoying, exhausting.
Where does one go?
Not real.
Yeah. And the thing is, where do we
who and who's got what?
And safe.
It's nonsense.
Where do we go here that feels safe?
Right.
That feels like any normalcy that we can kind of latch on to, that makes us feel safe as human beings. That I
told people during the thick of the pandemic that the couple of the places that remain are non-human places, not man-made. The ocean, nature, because that has no concept or understanding of what's going on, or how we're treating each other, or how we're not treating each other. It doesn't know anything about, viruses or any of that other stuff, or road rage or anything. Going to the ocean and being near the ocean, going hiking, planting a garden, going amongst nature, things that are always there, doing their thing, the rhythm of life. Surround yourself with that. Can be very rebooting, refreshing. I've done a lot of that. We're along the coast here, and the ocean is a huge thing for me. You got to drag me out of the ocean. I love it so much. And there's just something incredible about the energy that the ocean gives, because it's larger than me. It's larger than any of us. And that's a good thing. You know what I mean? I like the fact that it's larger than us, more powerful. And yet it provides beauty and recreation and sustenance and life and enjoyment. Could wipe you out in 5 seconds, but if you have respect for it, it will respect you, and it's there every day, and it's got a rhythm, and the sun comes out of it. The sun goes into it at the end of the day. And it's very reassuring when a lot of other things out there aren't reassuring. That's why everybody was baking all the bread and eating their childhood cereals and watching all the reruns of the sitcoms and nostalgic movies, bringing out all their favorite music during this time, because everything outside the front door seemed like it was just like an apocalyptic episode of a Twilight Zone.
Where do we get our comfort from? Where are our comfort foods, comfort programs, comfort things? And I think in part we're very lucky that we have things that we can look back. We have lived through a world and a time where we had amen, where things were easier and friendlier and more polite and more respectful and more human and
empathetic.
Yes.
Empathetic and
where people, I think, people had a general goodness about, they were all different backgrounds and different education levels and different whatever, but there was a decency, I think is the word, just a decency. What is decent in treating other people? And that seems to have just gone out the window. And I think social media is definitely.
It has definitely aided in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
a lot of what you see on there's what you see on there's not even real. I mean, some people post pictures of them, on their 35-foot boat, when really they're in their bedroom in their shorts, lifting pictures and saying that they're on that trip. I mean, it's like,
well, I mean the sort of the way people
competitiveness and all of this stuff that.
I mean, more particularly the way people respond to each other and cancel each other and don't listen to each other.
If you don't agree with somebody's viewpoint on anything, you've seen a lot of people through social media have divorces, I mean, and breakups and all kinds of stuff because they didn't agree with, you know what I mean? Their family member's not talking because of.
There's no ramifications for
crazy
horrible things to each other on social media, whereas if you were in person, you said something, you would never say things like that, right? And so people get away with treating each other and particularly saying things. Oh, hi, Arna.
Speaking of saying things, Arna's here.
Way back on Babar, right? Blue Jays, go Blue Jays. She's my friend from Toronto in animation. Her and her husband.
Welcome to the Jim Masters Show live, Arna. It's a pleasure to have you here.
She's really, and last name sounds like distant relatives were David O. But just the ugliness. It's ugly. A human ugliness. Just
disappointing, isn't it? It's not what you thought. If you have any sort of like, are you an idealist in a way?
No, I'm not an idealist.
Do you hope for better? Do you hope for?
I'm a realist. I mean, okay, so I'm a Libra. I'm an artist.
So am I.
Are you?
Yes, that's why this conversation is going so easily.
What day?
We're trying to do balance and harmony.
Yeah, that's right.
That's not easy. So I say to people, why was I born on Earth? I should have been born on Venus, the planet of love. And then they're like, no, you don't understand. If you Libras didn't exist, this place would implode.
You know that
Libra with Virgo rising.
Oh, so what day?
September 24th.
Oh, you're an early Libra.
Are you late? Are you October?
I'm mid. I'm right in the middle. October 11th.
October 11th, yeah. So are you in tune with the Libra?
I am.
Sympathetic, creative.
I'm adopted, so I don't know my hour of birth. I don't know what.
You see both sides of a question. Like if somebody asks you a question, it takes you a minute to answer it because you're looking at all the sides, all the outcomes.
All of it. I am. I'm thinking.
Me too. Yeah. I don't jump with the answer.
Interior designs, like visions.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to explore every friggin' option you can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Or he picks the certain curtains that he's getting the color of the wall, and that I did my whole living room last fall. But I mean, it was fun. It was, to me, that was very stimulating, very creative, wonderful.
Some of my favorite moments are when I allow myself to just say, what the heck? We're just going to do it. Where
Yeah,
the decision is just quickly, or we don't pre-plan everything and make everything so pre-planned. We
yeah,
just go and get in the car, and wherever we go, and there's no plan, there's no time. That's so refreshing,
mhm.
because other times you're trying to, balance it all out and harmonize it. And it's not so easy, and you're thinking about it, and you're trying to,
I
it's
know we must exhaust other people. I know from as objectively as I can look at myself, I would probably throttle myself because make a decision.
I
Shut
you know
up.
what I do? I've become better at it. You know what it is? You don't want to hurt people.
Yeah,
You want
yes,
everybody to benefit
yes,
equally. So you
yes.
want everybody to get a piece of the pie, as
Yeah,
opposed to, like some people, they wouldn't even think of everybody else. They'll
yeah.
just think of me, and I'm taking the whole pie with me, and you're on your own. You want everybody to, so for me, everybody comes to me for the comfort. Everybody comes to me to figure things out, to level things out, to put the fires out, to make them laugh, make them feel better, listen to their problems. I don't know if you find that too, but even in my professional work, the colleagues will all tell you, we want Jim here because Jim's energy is calming and easy and funny, and he doesn't demand and he doesn't force. He's there, and when we're going crazy and the place is on fire, Jim is there to figure out a way to balance it harmoniously, put it together, dust it off, polish it up, and get us back on the track. And then I go home and collapse on the couch. After then, now they're all good.
It does take that
They're
energy.
all good. And I'm like, okay, now you're good.
Harmonious and balance takes a lot of mental effort,
Absolutely.
especially
Yes.
when it's in communication, verbal communication, because, I'm sure you do this too.
Yeah. As a
You think
communicator.
all
Yeah.
those words ahead of time to make sure thank you, Kathleen, uh, that we're wanting to make sure we don't offend or upset,
Correct. Yep.
insult, um, and
Yeah.
yet still communicate. So there's a lot of thinking, a lot of head stuff going on, and that. But being spontaneous is also really, it's a nice change.
It
Being in
is.
the
Yeah.
moment.
Do
That's why
you
I like.
allow yourself to do that?
Well, that's why I like to draw those things when I'm in that moment, because
Yeah.
that's where the magic's gonna. And it's the same in real life
Yes.
with people, and I'm doing things, and I allow myself that opportunity to not overthink it. I could have fun that I ordinarily wouldn't have because I wouldn't allow myself to. So it's finding that combination, but I also need to kind of go away, and I don't know if you're the same way, but I need to go away, and I like to be alone most of the time. And then when I'm out socially, I want to be really social, and then I want to go. And
Would
then
you say it's an extroverted introvert? When you're out there and it's,
I'm not shy when I'm
yeah,
out.
right, exactly. So extroverted in that way, but then you need the day after to recharge,
Yeah,
regroup, and
I
sometimes
need my
you
yeah,
might even sort of rehash or review
yeah.
that big party you went to, or that event, or those people you were with, or that experience, to sort of relive it, review it. Uh, do you do that?
Yeah, but in terms of being in or out or going, being around people and the social, being fully social, if I can take care of myself, it takes most of my time to kind of, whatever I need to do, sleep, eat, exercise, stretch, I'll do all those things, healthful things, and have time to think. If I can do all of those things, I'm going to be 100% when I get together with you. What will happen if I'm overtaxed in terms of not having that time for myself? I'll shut down when I'm out. I'll shut down.
And that's when the phone rings more and the emails come and the texting and the, we need you now, and why aren't you here, and get this done, and da, 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 da. And 17 things will come at you at once at the time when you actually need to have a bowl of soup. You need to just rest. You need to just
exhausted, right?
you got to re-plug in. And that's at the time. I mean, there's times where and I never used to do it, but I do it more now, where I've had, in the space of like 15 minutes, like 6 disasters that other people are going through happen like in front of me, and this one's calling and they want this now, and this is like in this, and this one's saying that, and all these things, and I'm like, everybody just like take a breath. There's no way you could solve all of that for everybody all at the same time, and then if you're somebody who wants to do the best you can and you want to give 100%, but you're being pulled away for this and then this and then this all at the same time, and you're getting frustrated because you still want to go back to that first thing that you still got to get done, that you still want to, but they're demanding this and they want this. And I mean, I had it even this week where I had to tell a couple of colleagues, look, take a breath. Nothing's on fire. Don't panic. Everything is underway. Everything is good. We're all right. Just go and spin in another direction over there or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, I would never have said that like years ago, but now I'm like, you know what? Enough already. Enough. God. Yeah. I
usually go through the day sort of stopping myself and go, okay, what is the number one thing you need to focus on right now? What is the fire you need to put out? What do you need? What is the priority? Because there's a gazillion things I have to do. Gazillion. What do I need to focus on right now? What's the number one thing that has to get done right now? And then what's number 2? What's number 3? So take care of number 1 now. And I don't mean number 1, I don't mean me. I mean, what is the number 1 task that I need to do? And just focus on that, because otherwise we'll get completely overwhelmed.
Yeah, right.
And like last night, spinning around my apartment, thinking, should I clean something, or should I do this? Should I should I work out? Should I do that? Or should I eat? Should I do that? And it's like, Glenn, stop and focus. Just focus on see one thing through, because that's the other thing. As I'll start Yes, right. And then it all
builds up.
How many drawings did I show you that aren't done? So,
how many shirts did you pick to wear before that one?
Just tonight? This one. Because
did you? So you made a quick decision.
I don't have many. I don't wear shirts.
See, I didn't do that. I had like 3 others, but I said, because he's creative and he's an illustrator, I'll wear a shirt that has all these nice colors. Yeah. It's topical.
It was just like, I have mostly t-shirts and tank tops, or then I have like clothes for going out and dressing up really nice. So I don't have any in-between clothes.
The in-between stuff, yeah.
I don't have an in-between life. I'm either at home working, grocery shopping, running errands, or not so much the past 2 years, but going out somewhere fabulous. So it's kind of like I have the 2 extremes, nothing in between.
And yet you're a Libra. It's the opposite, right?
Well, I'm a Libra who doesn't wear clothes unless they need to. So a lot of stuff. I have a lot of fancy clothes, some crazy clothes, creative clothes, but not.
And then you got the comfortable stuff
for an interview. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. We're only seeing from top up anyway. We didn't make you get up and walk
around.
I am wearing
shorts. I didn't know if I was going to have to stand up at some point and grab.
That's it.
No one wants that Zoom surprise.
This was amazing, my friend. Do you know that we chatted for 3 hours and 10 minutes?
I didn't think it was going to go this long.
Neither did I. I never know how long these go. We don't time them. I just let it roll.
cat
Dick
together.
Cavett style. This would be like 2 or 3 episodes of Cavett. Conversational, warm, easy. We go in whatever direction, and
This is when you ask me,
kind
when
of therapeutic, huh?
I put my feet up, and you ask me if this has been, you say this has been wonderful, and will you come back for a second episode, or can we cut the commercials? Go ahead, do it. You know what I'm going to do?
Do you want me to cut for commercial?
No. Just say, would you consider coming back for a second episode? Or can we continue this in a second episode?
This has been really amazing, Glen Hanson. You're extraordinary. I would love it if you could come back and we can continue this for a second episode. That would be such a pleasure.
I think we can do that. Yes. My bad Katharine Hepburn impersonation, but that's what happened during the Cavett interview.
Yes, but you made up for it here.
Well, that's
That really is incredible.
my way of impersonation. That's more successful.
You ever see her beautiful house, her estate in the beautiful Fenwick section of Old Saybrook, Connecticut? It jets out into the Long Island Sound. She was from Hartford, Connecticut. She never really liked the Hollywood life. She came back to Connecticut on the shoreline and built that beautiful nautical estate. It's a beautiful place.
Destroyed by a hurricane and rebuilt.
Yes. And I think her brother lived with her there too as well. Yeah. Cool stuff.
Perhaps, yeah. You know, I'm
Maureen says this has been a fabulous conversation. And again, we go in a lot of different directions. You know, we talked about the career, we talked about the art, but now I think people learn a little bit more about the person. Fabulous conversation. Thank you so much for being Jim's special guest this evening. You're an amazing human, and thank you for existing.
Oh, and thank you for doing what you've done and setting this up and being
my pleasure
and kind and an exemplary Libra. As you are.
I tell you, it's a double Libra here. That's for sure. You put 2 Libras together, look what happens. And Uniclaire, Mayanne, who's watching from the Philippines, says he'll be back.
He better get working if he's going to be back.
He'll be back. Great conversation, Jim and Glenn. Thank you very, very much. You guys are fantastic. All these great comments. This was amazing. And again, Instagram and the website and everywhere else, they can find you. But I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, my friend, and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you.
Pleasure. Get to meet someone new and talk to someone new and in this setting, long distance. And let's hope we can do it on the couch sometime with the band and the live audience.
That would be cool. That would be really, really cool. I like that idea. Spread the word about the show, my friend. If you know folks that you think would like to pay it forward sort of thing, Wayne and then Glenn and then, and you're amazing. You really are a super talent. You're very humble about it, but you really are an extraordinary talent. And being artistic and creative myself, I was very in tune with it and very excited to have you come on. So I appreciate you stopping by the Jim Master Show Live, but also being open, real, authentic, funny, gracious to our lovely viewers and spending this amount of time with us. It was really amazing.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. You be well, stay in good health, stay in good spirits, and let's stay in touch. And hopefully we'll break bread either here on the East Coast or if I'm out on the West Coast on a shoot or something. I'll let you know.
Okay.
It'd be great.
Thank you so much. Thanks,
Glenn.
Bye-bye.
They already said you're a lovety too, so it's kind of cool, huh? You're a Jim Master Show lovety.
Well, many things, never that.
Good way to wrap as a lovety. You take care, my friend.
Bye.
Cheers. Incomparable, internationally acclaimed illustrator and animator Glen Hanson joining us here live from his home in his studio there in Los Angeles, California. Really cool. You got a chance to see so many incredible things. Great stories behind the scenes about all of the incredible artistry. And you learn a little bit more about the man behind it all. He's been doing it for years. And he, I love this, the Carol Burnett holiday ornament. Great stories behind it all as well. And there, of course, Glenn Close and Barbara Streisand and Harvey Fierstein, loving their versions of their holiday ornaments. What's really cool is, on our show, we get a chance to really like I say, Carson Cavett style a little bit with a modern twist and modern vibe of today, bringing you guys in. You're sort of like our studio audience watching all around the world, commenting. And don't forget, folks, very important, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, which is Jim Masters TV. We've done over 740 episodes of the Jim Masters Show Live series. Give us some lovity. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's no cost. Click the notification bell so you never miss any of our episodes daily live. And also spread the word, share the lovity, share this episode, all the episodes that you like on your social media. Tell your friends about our show. Don't keep it a secret. Yeah, this was from Laugh-In, Sock It To Me, this one. Isn't that a cool one? Rowan and Martin there and the Brady Bunch house. This is just a little drop in the bucket of what he's done in all these years. We just pulled, a little bit of a variety of things to show you guys, and we talked about them all. And even some of the, the inner workings of it all. It's a lot of work, it's, and you can see he's a perfectionist, and look at Dolly Parton there, the attention to detail. He wants to do it right, give it his best shot, and obviously, because he's been doing this for years for so many different companies and organizations and TV shows. I mean, you name it. Hepburn is really good. They all are, huh? Jetsons. And great stories. Lucy and Desi, Ronnie Spector, another fabulous one that, if you didn't say that earlier, paying homage to Ronnie Spector of the Ronettes, Betty White. I mean, just all Janet Jackson, and then Tammy Faye Baker, just cool, Barbara Streisand, the Jeffersons, just a few. Maud. I grabbed some of the TV ones too, working in television. The author. Norman Lear, just heard 100. And Johnny Carson, of course. Glen Hanson, our guest, here on the Jim Masters Show Live, entertainment, lifestyle, variety talk show series, where we're bringing back the lost art of conversation. You guys are great. This was really fantastic. Maureen says, I wish 3 hours at work went as fast as these 3 hours did. Thank you, Jim. Thanks for being here for 3 hours, gang. Those of you who have watched this episode since the very beginning, you are not just lovities, you are troupities. You are troupities. I know you guys want swag, so we're talking to a company now to distribute the swag that you guys want. We have everything all set, just need to get it locked in with the company that can do the distribution. Thank you, Jim, for your continued amazing shows. You are the bee's knees, my friend. I love her expressions. The bee's knees. Thank you, Jim. You're the best. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Everybody, you guys are terrific. From wherever you are watching around the world, we thank you very much for watching this episode of the Jim Masters Show. Again, if you enjoyed this episode, give it a thumbs up. This was an extended episode. It was really fantastic. Give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Definitely leave a comment on our YouTube channel as well. If you enjoy this episode of the Jim Masters Show, drop a comment on the YouTube channel. That really helps us big time. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is Jim Masters TV. And around here, we don't say goodbye. We say see you later, slancha, cheers, ciao, avida zane, hasta la vista, sayonara, shalom, moi loop, and all the rest. Take care of one another. Be good to one another. Love one another. And as we always say, be good to yourself. That's right. Take a moment to be good to yourself. It's kind of cool to learn that he's a Libra, just like I am. Kind of cool. And he's enjoying the ride. He really opened up about his life, which none of that was scripted. Sometimes people always feel comfortable to be authentic and real when they come on the Jim Masters Show. It's like that with other things that I do professionally in television, radio, the other shows that I host professionally, and the other work that I've done. A lot of times, if there's somebody else brought in, they always feel comfortable to want to express themselves, have a good time, laugh, which I think is a cool thing. That's why we don't call these interviews. We call them conversations at the Jim Masters Show. So good stuff. Yeah. We've got a whole bevy of shows. I'm going to be heading to Milwaukee, Wisconsin on a television shoot in just a couple of days, a big television shoot. Can't wait. So we got some big things happening there. But we've got all these shows lined up for you that I think you're going to enjoy. Amazing guests. Uniclaire says, have a great day ahead. Stay safe. Thanks, Jim and friends. You're the best. Thank you for watching from the Philippines. And Maureen, you as well. And Kathleen in New York City and everybody. All right, lovelies, we're going to pop off here. Thanks again for being with us. You're the best, and we love you all, and we appreciate you, and spread the word. And if you want to do a super thanks to help support our show, there's a little heart icon on the YouTube channel. You could do that as well. And we're continuing to get more and more subscribers, more and more viewers, and we welcome and thank every single one of you. If you're new, if you've just subscribed to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, thank you very much. We welcome you to our show and our series. If you subscribed the day that we started, thank you as well for your loyalty. And if you're one of the new viewers, thank you and welcome. You can binge watch hundreds of episodes we've done so far with amazing guests, great times, a lot of cool special episodes, holiday episodes, themed episodes, pop-up shows on location. We've done a lot of cool things with this series. And we thank you all for your time and your attention. You're all cool people. We really love you guys. All right. So be well, take care. And we thank once again Glen Hanson for joining us. We thank you for being with us here on the Jim Masters Show. Take care. And those of you watching live, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll be back 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And those of you watching Memorex, you're watching this later in the archives, stay right there. Another episode comes up on the Jim Masters Show Live. Take care and be well. Cheers.